today, we move into the topics that connect agriculture with tools and technologies that make it more efficient, resilient, and smarter. For the very first segment of today's presentation, we have digital advisory services and latest tech innovation in agriculture. If I may add myself, I myself have been engaged in the field of precision agriculture recently, and I have seen how our understanding of tech is rapidly changing. Today, technology is no longer just a tool for communication, information, or entertainment. It is evolving into a means to support the unheard, to reach the unreachable. Yet, an important question remains. Can digital agriculture truly help our farmers? Will it really thrive in a country like ours where resources is limited? As we explore this session, we are not only discussing technologies, but also exploring the possibility they hold for transforming agriculture in practical and meaningful ways. With this, for our very first session, I'd like to request Session Chair Menila Kharel, Ma'am, Director of Programs, ID Nepal, to grace us with your present. I request everyone to give a huge round of applause for us as an encouragement. For the keynote takers, I'd like to request Sangita Shrestha, Ma'am, Senior Engineer, Department of Agriculture. Similarly, for keynote takers, I'd like to request Randir Kumar Saha, Senior Divisional Engineer, Department of Water Resource and Irrigation. With this, we have our very first technical session, which is going to be virtual. So I'd like to request Bobbi from Associate Vice President Programs from Grameen Foundation, USA, and this session is going to be virtual, so I request everyone to be patient and listen what.
Great, thank you, Rabindra. Can you share the slides? There we go. Perfect, thank you. While he's getting those slides up, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to get to join you from so far away. My name's Bobbi Gray. I'm the Associate Vice President of Programs at Grameen Foundation. We're an international development organization based out of Washington, D.C. that has operations across sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. I'm based out of Texas, so it's about 10 o'clock at night. So thank you for letting me join your morning before I go to bed. I wanted to quickly just introduce the AgriPath Toolkit. This is a project that has been exploring the role of community-based agents in scaling digital advisory services. In this slide, this is basically an overview of a toolkit that we've been developing that has been designed to actually take some of the research that is existing in the sector from the research that we're doing right now for the AgriPath project that's testing out, what is the impact of community-based agents in scaling digital advisory services? Because we recognize that when people develop DOS or digital advisory services, they rarely reach the outreach and the scale that providers, anticipate and expect. And a lot of that is because of the various barriers that exist to, within the infrastructure, within gender and social norms, within mobile phone access, et cetera. So the QR code on this slide will actually take you to the AgriPath Toolkit that is currently under development and that we hope to have finished in the next couple of months. And I'll tell you through the development, you're going to see that the access to the tools that we've created are actually in the originating document. So many of them are still in Word documents that we'll finalize, but we'll maintain people's access to the original document. So as people want to use the tools, they can actually, strip content away that's not needed for using the different documents. So there are two kind of audiences, and I'll go through these in the next few slides for this toolkit. Number one, the first one is obviously the different DOS providers that are out there. These are the different agri-tech companies that are providing some sort of digital advisory service, either for a fee or as a freemium service that is connected to input, supply purchases, access to markets, access to credit, etc. So there are basically 6 different phases that we have designed for this toolkit. The first one is simply just understanding your digital ecosystem. As agri-tech companies want to move from one context to the other, what are the different types of information you need to understand what your barriers and opportunities are going to be for scaling digital advisory services. The second phase is how do you build scalable digital advisory business models. I think this is a really big question mark within the sector that we're exploring through this phase of the toolkit. And then there are kind of several phases here that are all fairly well connected, which is how do you identify existing community-based agent networks? If you're a DOS provider, you want to know who you can partner with for actually helping market and scale the use of a digital advisory service. How do you recruit community-based agents, or CBAs is the acronym that we use? How do you train them and how do you monitor their performance? So if you go to the next slide, Rabindra, I'm going to show you what the tools are in each of the different phases that we have here. So in phase 1, whenever I think, there we go. In phase 1, we have under the understanding your digital ecosystem. So the way the toolkit is structured is that there's an introduction document, and this is the research document that kind of lays out everything that we know based on, for example, in the first phase, what is everything that we need to know about understanding your digital ecosystem? So we lay out the research, the different experience that exists in the sector, and then it's followed by a series of tools. So under the understanding your digital ecosystem set of tools, we have an ecosystem desk research template that kind of lays out what are all the different types of information you need to kind of consider and what are the data sources you could actually use to answer certain questions. There's a national level mobile connectivity desk research template, and this actually draws on GSMA's mobile connectivity index. And so it's an annually updated index of information that looks at, infrastructure, the type of content that exists in an area, what's the cost of data and mobile phones, et cetera. And that kind of helps DOS providers pinpoint what are going to be the enablers or the challenges they're going to have for scaling their particular DOS solution in that environment. There's a mobile phone specifications assessment. So one of the things we've learned in practice is that once you design a DOS solution, you need to understand what are the different mobile phones that people actually own, not just is it a feature phone, smartphone, et cetera, but what are the features of those phones? Like how much RAM is on the phone? How well are connections to the internet, et cetera. And then there is a tool that we're currently developing right now that looks at public-private partnerships. And so that one's under development right now, but we want to explore what are the different examples of when DOS providers and governments actually partner. And then in phase 2, under the building scalable DOS business models, there's again an introduction that is still under development. So if you go to the website, you're not going to see it there, but we look at a DOS solution customer journey map, and we're looking at a lot of these tools build on existing tools that already exist in the sector, but we're often looking at the different experiences of DOS providers within that customer journey. At what point does a community-based agent need to engage with a farmer to scale a digital advisory service? We're looking at the business model canvas with the community-based agent included in that. So a lot of people have used that tool, but this one adds in, it takes the agri-tech focus, but also adds in the role of the community-based agent. We look at a value proposition canvas. Again, agents are included in that. We look at a SWOT analysis template, a critical assumptions mapping template. One of the things that we've learned with a lot of experts is that you need to actually articulate what the assumptions are as to how you think you're going to scale your technology. And then there are 2 tools still under development, one that's looking at the different revenue models that DOS providers have taken, as well as how do you calculate your total addressable market, which is basically the type of farmer and how many farmers you tend to want to reach with your service, and then what will be the expected revenue from that. So these are anticipated to be tools that really early stage entrepreneurs might look at when they're both developing their technology, but they're starting to think through, how am I going to sustain and raise income that will cover the cost of running a service? In phase 3, we look at the identifying existing networks of agents. And so the main tool that we have here is actually just an interview guide based on some different characteristics that a DOS provider might want to consider when they're looking at different partnerships. The recruiting agents, basically a bunch of just very practical tools that many people create on their own. So there's not really anything terribly special about all of these, but it basically looks at everything from like, how do you market a job description? Where would you market it? What is the position description? How would you interview a community-based agent? What would the position agreement be? And what would a code of conduct be? So we're just trying to build on, for anybody that's new stage and needs to do all of these steps, here are some examples of some tools that they can use so that they don't have to start from scratch. Similarly, under training agents, we provide a learning needs and resources assessment. Like, how do you know what community-based agents already know and what are their needs based on different types of skill sets that we believe they actually need to be successful in their position. What is a safeguarding assessment? So when you are training them, what are the different kind of challenges you might have, especially for engaging women in training? You know, for example, just looking at safety, do they have to have permission to participate in the training? What time of the day is it? So it's just a little bit of both a training and a checklist for the different aspects that you might want to pay attention to before you actually seek to train agents. We have a training planning guide, and then we actually have an inventory of different curriculum that's out there in the public space that you could draw on to train agents on digital skills, on different agricultural skills, et cetera. And then finally, the monitoring agent performance set of tools look at the different key performance indicators, both from the perspective of how do you know agents are doing their job well, and the different types of indicators that would help you think that through, but how could you leverage, how could you build those indicators into the DOS solution itself? So if you're building dashboards, you know, as you're focusing on how many farmers are we reaching with information, you can also be tracking the performance of the agents and helping support the scaling of the DOS solution. And then we provide some assessment tools that you can use either to have a supervisor evaluate the performance of a community-based agent, a farmer can evaluate the agent, and then the agent evaluates him or herself. So the main thing, just going to say, is the toolkit does not cover like how do you actually design your technology specifically. We've kind of left that out. There's a lot of human-centered design research toolkits and guidance out there in the sector, so we're not going to cover that. And while we focus on smartphone-based applications because we're drawing on the use of Farm Better, which is an app that I think many will talk about a little bit later. We also recognize that as we've gotten deeper into this, that some of the lessons in scaling digital advisory services are going to be applicable for like scaling through SMS, IVR, video, radio, etc. So if you'll go to the next slide, Rabindra, the 2 last things I just want to share is that because we recognize there are different audiences for this, if you're a DOS provider and you see yourself primarily as a technology platform, like you are not going to recruit agents yourself, you're not going to train them, you're not going to monitor their performance. The majority of the tools that are going to be relevant for you are kind of the first 3 phases, and a few tools in the last 3 you might find useful as you think through how do you support agents, or how do you make sure that you're building your technology with certain agents in mind. So the ones in red are the ones that we would recommend for DOS providers themselves. And then on the last slide, we kind of flip it and we say, okay, if you happen to be a community-based agent network, whether you are an extension program, you're a nonprofit organization that trains and, has a rural workforce, et cetera, then those tools are for you. So Rabindra, if you'll show that last slide, then that just shows you, these are the tools that are actually more applicable for agent networks, so that there's kind of two audiences, but if you're a one-stop shop and you both have the technology and you're recruiting agents or some sort of sales force, then all of these tools may be relevant for you. So I just wanted to give you a brief introduction of what the toolkit includes, and if Rabindra shares the slide deck, that QR code will also make that, and these are meant to be publicly available tools. Right now they're in English. We're going to be adding French translations to those, and because they're in their original documents, hopefully it will make the tools easy for translation into other languages as they're demanded. So let me stop there and I'll turn it back over to Rabindra, because I know we're running a little bit late and I'm not sure who's next in line. But nice to be here, and thanks again for inviting me to present about the AgriPath Toolkit.
Thank you so much, Bobbi ma'am, for giving us insightful presentation on AgriPath tool. Now, next on line, we have once again a virtual presentation from Alizee Geze ma'am, who is director of Altai Consulting. Over to you, Rabindra sir.
Agricultural Advisory Services, DAS, supports the work of various stakeholders, government agencies, donors, accelerator programs, incubation programs, DAS practitioners and implementers, and other market actors involved and interested in bringing DAS to scale. The framework provides answers to questions such as: can DAS be scaled, and what does scale mean? What will it take to scale my digital agricultural advisory service? How important is it to start out with a business model?
Hello, I'm Alizee Boutard. I'm working as a director at Altai Consulting, and we've been supporting the AgriPath project together with our colleagues from the Grameen Foundation. The AgriPath scaling framework is a tool for DAS practitioners and other agriculture ecosystem stakeholders to help them scale DAS, so digital agricultural advisory services, and thereby helping them to unlock their full potential to improve the lives of farmers and also help them produce food in a more sustainable way. As part of AgriPath, it's been very important to make sure that what we do, the research that is being conducted, has real tangible impact. And for this to be achieved, it's very important that the DAS, the services that are being developed, go beyond the proof of concept, go beyond the pilot stage, but really scale to reach a large number of farmers, and really making sure that the usage of DAS and the content that is being shared through this DAS becomes institutionalized and become common practice by farmers so that it can really make an impact. And one of the challenges is that while many digital agricultural advisory services are being developed in many different countries, across many different value chains, the reality is that very few of them manage to scale. And this is a big missed opportunity for two main reasons. The first one, of course, is that when DAS scale, they can have a massive impact on farmers because they can help them to improve their productivity, improve the quality of their produce, and by doing so, it helps them to have improved revenues or also improve capacity to face climate shocks, for instance. And it can also help them to adopt more sustainable practices. So very important that it reaches a large amount of farmers. The second reason why these services have to scale to have a real impact is because there is the marginal cost of reaching additional farmers is lower and lower as you scale. This big fixed cost to develop the service, to make it work, etc., you don't have to pay it anymore. And scaling is just about adding an incremental cost to reach additional farmers and have more impact. So that means that if these services manage to scale, there is a real potential to have very cost-efficient intervention by having farmers use and benefit from these services. So this framework has been designed to help DAS providers, so the ones that are really designing the services, address some of the common misconceptions that exist when it comes to scale, and really provide them with guidance, examples to avoid falling in the trap at the pilot stage, and really make sure that the service that they design from the beginning has the potential to scale. The framework is also targeting all of the other ecosystem stakeholders, that is government representatives, that is donors, private companies, NGOs, etc., who are working in the ecosystem and who also have a role to play to create the favorable conditions that can enable these services to scale. The framework was designed based on mixed methods, so an in-depth desk review. We also conducted over 30 different key informant interviews with a variety of practitioners. So, of course, people who are developing these DAS services, but also governments, research institutions, donors, investors, agricultural, private stakeholders, etc. And we had a focus on 3 main countries: India, Burkina Faso, and Uganda, where the AgriPath Project is being implemented. Some of these interviews being conducted in person and other remotely. But we, of course, look through the desk review through what happens also in other parts of the world to really understand the best practices. The framework is a tool, as we mentioned. It's about 70 slides long, and the objective is really to support the DAS practitioners and also, as we mentioned, the ecosystem stakeholders. So the tool is really split into 2 different sections. The first one, which is called Priority Pillars, will address 3 components that have to be in place for a service to scale and that are often overlooked by the DAS developers. So we really wanted to investigate these and really unpack why often DAS providers struggle to be successful on these components, which then present barriers for them to scale their services. The second section of the framework, this time focusing on other ecosystem stakeholders. And similarly, we look at what needs to be there to support DAS to scale. And so we look at these different blocks, so to say, and on how these different types of practitioners can design programs that can help put in place the favorable conditions for DAS to scale. Maybe just quickly on the key highlights of the scaling framework. For the 3 priority pillars, first very important one is community-based agents, CBAs. One of the main misconceptions we find out through the research is that we think that because DAS are digital services, you do not need any more agents to scale. And this is not true. It's not true because for this segment of population that is being targeted by DAS, so the farmers, there is a trust component that is very important. And agents are there to really make sure that the farmers are comfortable and know how to use the service. Another major challenge is, of course, the digital literacy of the farmers. And finally, another very important reason is that as you scale, you will start reaching out to categories of farmers that maybe are less familiar, live in more remote areas, are a bit less digitally literate, etc. And to onboard them on your service, so to scale, you will need agents to help them start using the service. So again, this is a common misconception, but agents are needed for this service to scale. So in the framework, we are really making the diagnosis, looking at why this is a key barrier to scale, and most importantly, how it can be addressed. So we have very practical guidance on how to identify agents, how to manage an agent network, how to train them, how to incentivize them, etc., to make sure that you have this network in place that you will need to scale your service. The second very important pillar for DaaS to scale is business model and access to financing. Very often when DaaS are being piloted, they have obtained one grant, often from a public donor, and they start developing and piloting the service with this grant. The challenge is that very often, because developing these services already takes a lot of time and energy, the DaaS developers do not think about the next phase. So what will be the next funding source to continue to develop the service beyond this grant? And this, of course, poses a major challenge. So it's very important that from the beginning, from the inception, there is this reflection around how will I secure financing after this initial grant. So either I have the capacity to generate revenue, so that means I have to find a strong, sustainable business model for my DaaS, or I will need to make sure that I have access to other types of financing through maybe government subsidies, through banks, a loan at a bank, for instance, through equity, whatever the mean, but of course, access to financing will be key to scale the service. So in the framework, we are exploring this. We are exploring the different types of business models that can be developed by DaaS providers to make sure that they can generate revenue on their own, and post this pilot phase, continue to develop and scale the services. And finally, the third priority pillar that we have identified relates to content. Very often, and that's normal, the pilot focuses on a specific country, a specific region within that country. So that means very often just one language on one specific value chain. And so you need only access to a limited amount of content. But as you scale, you will be targeting new countries, new languages, new value chains, and you need to make sure that you have access to this big amount of content so that you can scale your service. So in this section of the framework, we are really exploring this, the content strategy, how to secure access to very robust, scientifically verified content. And secondly, how do you transform, so to say, that content? So of course, translate it, but also put it in formats that are relevant for the farmers so that they can really use them, so that you can scale your services. So this is in a nutshell what you will find in the framework for this section for DaaS providers on this priority pillar to scale. And in the second section, you will find the other enablers that we have identified. This one focusing more on other ecosystem stakeholders and what they can do to support the scaling of DaaS. We are, for instance, exploring infrastructure and assets. So, of course, for DaaS to scale, you will need access to reliable, affordable internet, mobile internet, including in rural areas, so that farmers can use it. So how do you do that? What can be also very helpful is if there is a national agriculture vision in the country that really promote DaaS as a way to change the agricultural practices and to improve productivity. You also need, of course, an enabling business environment, an ecosystem that encourages investors to invest in the country, that encourages entrepreneurs to build their services and to develop DaaS, for instance. Another important enabler, of course, is human capital. You will need local agronomists to create this scientific knowledge that will be disseminated through the DaaS. You will need to have marketing specialists, etc., etc. So really, that there is this human capital available for the DAS companies so that they can build a strong team for the service. And finally, another very important enabler is what we have called users and communities, which is the structuration of these rural areas. If farmers, for instance, are structured into groups, into cooperatives, etc., of course, it will make it easier to reach out to them and to help them use these DAS services. So thank you very much.
For more information, read the complete framework on the AgriPath website or reach out to AgriPath Consortium partner, Grameen Foundation.
Thank you so much, Alizee ma'am from Altai Consulting. Now moving on to next, may I request Bristi Vaidya, PhD candidate from Kathmandu University, to present her technical presentation on digital advisory services. And may I request everyone to encourage our presenter with a huge round of applause, please. So the presenter have 8 minutes of total time, and I will be signaling you with a cue card when you have 2 minutes left.
नमस्ते सबैजनालाई शुभ प्रभात मेरो नाम बृष्टि वैद्य म चाहिँ काठमाडौँ विश्वविद्यालयमा यो एग्रीपाथ प्रोजेक्ट अन्तर्गतको पीएचडी स्टुडेन्ट अनि आज चाहिँ हामी यो एग्रीपाथ प्रोजेक्ट अन्तर्गत काठमाडौँ युनिभर्सिटीबाट गरिएका रिसर्च एक्टिभिटिज र ती एक्टिभिटिजहरुबाट आएका की फाइन्डिङ्सहरुको बारेमा चाहिँ म केही शेयर गर्न चाहन्छु त्यो भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ ठुलो कन्सोर्टियम पार्टनर्सहरु हुनुहुन्छ स्विट्जरल्यान्डको युनिभर्सिटी अफ बर्नबाट युनिभर्सिटी अफ लजान ग्रामीण फाउन्डेसन युएसए ग्रामीण फाउन्डेसन इन्डिया काठमाडौँ युनिभर्सिटी फार्म बेटर एप्लिकेसन इसिपे किलिमो ट्रस्ट सिमस र आइडिई र काठमाडौँ युनिभर्सिटीमा चाहिँ हाम्रो टिम प्रोफेसर सागर राज शर्मा उहाँ चाहिँ प्रिन्सिपल इन्भेस्टिगेटर हुनुहुन्छ डाक्टर रितिका राणा पोस्ट डक फेलो र म छु र हामीले चाहिँ यो रिसर्च एक्टिभिटिज चाहिँ केमा फोकस गर्यौं भन्दाखेरि म अहिले भर्खरै चितवन भरतपुरबाट आएको र हामी त्यहाँ सर्वे गर्न जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ धेरै जस्तो फार्मर्सहरूले चाहिँ हामीलाई के सोध्नु भयो भने के तपाई प्राविधिक हुनुहुन्छ भनेर सोध्नु भयो किनभने त्यहाँ चाहिँ वर्षौं भइसकेको रहेछ प्राविधिकहरु नआउनु भएको सो यो ग्यापलाई न्यारो गर्नको लागि चाहिँ अब यो डिजिटल एडभान्समेन्टहरुको कारणले गर्दाखेरि डिजिटल एग्रो एडभाइजरी सर्भिसेसहरु आएको छ तर त्यसलाई स्केल गर्ने त्यसलाई डिजाइन गर्नको लागि चाहिँ फर्स्टमा भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट चाहिँ यो डास अडप्सनमा चाहिँ कुन फ्याक्टर्सहरुले चाहिँ रोल खेल्दो रहेछ फार्मर्सहरुले अडप्ट गर्नको लागि त्यसमा के अपर्चुनिटिज के डिसएडभान्टेजेस ब्यारियर्सहरु च्यालेन्जेसहरु फार्मर्सहरुलाई कस्तो हुँदो रहेछ भनेर चाहिँ हामीले हेर्न खोज्यौं अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ डिजिटल एग्रो एडभाइजरी सर्भिसेस र सस्टेनेबल एग्रिकल्चर प्र्याक्टिसको बीचमा चाहिँ के कस्तो रिलेसनशिप छ के हुन सक्छ भनेर हामीले त्यो पनि एक्सप्लोर गर्न खोज्यौं र अर्को भनेको चाहिँ हामीहरुले चाहिँ कति लिटरेचर्सहरु पढ्दाखेरि चाहिँ सस्टेनेबल एग्रिकल्चर प्र्याक्टिसको कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अलिकति कलेक्टिभ हुनु पर्यो नत्र इन्डिभिजुअल फार्मर्सलाई चाहिँ गाह्रो हुन्छ भन्ने हिसाबले चाहिँ हामीले डिजिटल एग्रो एडभाइजरी सर्भिस चाहिँ एउटा रेगुलर फार्मर फिल्ड स्कुलमा इन्टिग्रेट गरेर पनि एक्सपेरिमेन्ट गर्यौं र फर्स्टमा चाहिँ हामीले एउटा स्मल स्केलको रिसर्च गऱ्यौँ कागेश्वरी मनोरामा 50जना फार्मर्सहरू जसलाई चाहिँ अलरेडी थाहा थियो एउटा डिजिटल एग्रो एडभाइजरी सर्भिसको बारेमा जियो कृषिको बारेमा चाहिँ उहाँहरू अलरेडी ट्रेन्ड हुनुहुन्थ्यो या उहाँहरूले आफ्नो साथीहरूकोबाट थाहा पाउनु भएको थियो र त्यो हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले के थाहा पायौँ भन्दाखेरि मोबाइल फोन भएर या मलाई जियो कृषिको बारेमा थाहा पाएँ मलाई थाहा छ भन्ने बित्तिकै चाहिँ मैले जियो कृषि चलाउँदिनँ किनभने त्यसलाई एकदमै मोबाइल ओनरसिपले मात्र होइन अरू धेरै फ्याक्टर्सहरूले पनि इन्फ्लुएन्स गरिरहेको हुन्छ जस्तै कम्युनिकेसन च्यानल ट्रेनिङ अब फार्मर्सहरू जस्तै 16जना 50जनाबाट 16जनाले चाहिँ के भन्नुभयो भने मैले त युजै नगरिकन त्यसलाई रिजेक्ट गरिदिएँ मैले ट्राई नै गरिनँ भनेर भन्नुभयो किनभने अब ट्रेनिङ चाहिँ एक दिनको मात्रै थियो हामीलाई स्मार्टफोन त्यो ट्रेनिङमा लग्नुपर्छ भनेर थाहा थिएन अनि स्मार्टफोन युज गर्न आउँदैन थियो पढ्न आउँदैन थियो हामीलाई गाह्रो भयो भनेर भन्नुभयो अनि त्यसपछि एक्टिभली रिजेक्ट गर्नुहुने जसले चाहिँ ट्राई गरेर रिजेक्ट गर्नुभयो उहाँहरूले चाहिँ हाउस होल्ड डाइनामिक्सको कुरा पनि लिएर आउनुभयो जस्तै कि अब फोन चाहिँ नि बच्चाहरूले पनि सेयर गर्नुहुन्छ उहाँहरूले चाहिँ फोन लिएर आफ्नो गेम डाउनलोड गर्नको लागि चाहिँ त्यो एप्लिकेसन डिलिट गरिदिनुहुन्छ होइन अनि 28जनाले चाहिँ म अझै युज गरिरहेको छु किनभने मलाई आफ्नो बालीमा रोग किरा लाग्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यसको फोटो खिचेर पठाउँदाखेरि प्राविधिकहरूलाई सजिलो भएको पनि उहाँहरूले सेयर गर्नुभयो है सो सेकेन्डमा चाहिँ हामीले अर्को रिसर्च एक्टिभिटी भनेको डिजिटल फार्मर फिल्ड स्कुललाई डिजाइन र इम्प्लिमेन्ट गऱ्यौँ आई थिङ्क यो चाहिँ नेपालमा फर्स्ट टाइम पनि हो जस्तो लाग्छ त्यसमा चाहिँ हामीले एउटा झम्केश्वरी कृषक समूह यो दक्षिणकाली म्युनिसिपालिटी वडा नम्बर 8 छैमले त्यो ग्रुपसँग चाहिँ यो 20+ विक्स चाहिँ हामीले यो सञ्चालन गऱ्यौँ र त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामीले प्री पोस्ट सर्वे र डिजिटल एग्रो एडभाइजरी सर्भिसेस र सस्टेनेबल एग्रिकल्चर प्र्याक्टिसको अडप्सनलाई हेर्ने फ्रेमवर्क पनि त्यसमा ग्याप नभएको देखेर चाहिँ हामीले अर्को 304 रेस्पोन्डेन्ट्स यो 10वटा काठमाडौँको म्युनिसिपालिटीहरूमा चाहिँ हामीले सर्वे पनि गऱ्यौँ र की फाइन्डिङ्सहरू चाहिँ अघि अलिजेले पनि भन्नुभयो होइन यो लोकल फेसिलिटेटर्स र कम्युनिटी बेस्ड एजेन्टको चाहिँ अझै एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट रोल छ किनभने उहाँहरूले चाहिँ लोकल कन्टेक्स्ट बुझ्नुभएको हुन्छ फार्मर्सहरूको निड बुझ्नुभएको हुन्छ उहाँहरूको ल्याङ्ग्वेज उहाँहरूलाई थाहा छ सो कम्युनिकेसन राम्ररी गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ होइन अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ यो डिएफएफएस सञ्चालन गरिसकेपछि फार्मर्सहरूको प्री र पोस्ट रिजल्ट्स हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ नि उहाँहरूको सस्टेनेबल एग्रिकल्चर प्र्याक्टिसमा अवेरनेस अनि त्यसपछि डिजिटल एग्रो एडभाइजरीबाट पनि इन्फर्मेसन लिन मिल्छ है भन्ने अवेरनेसमा चाहिँ नि इम्प्रुभमेन्ट आएको देखियो तर इम्प्रुभमेन्ट आउँदाखेरि पनि उहाँहरूको कन्फिडेन्समा चाहिँ नि त्यति इम्प्रुभमेन्ट आएको देखिएन किनभने अघि पनि भने धेरै फ्याक्टर्सहरूले रोल खेल्ने गर्छ जस्तै अब स्मार्टफोनको ओनरसिप हुनु पर्यो ओनरसिप मात्र भएर भएन चलाउन आउनु पर्यो होइन जस्ता कुराहरू अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ रिसेन्टली यो पिएचडी रिसर्चको लागि चाहिँ भरतपुर चितवनमा 481 फार्मर्ससँग पनि हामीले सर्वे गरेका थियौँ र त्यसमा चाहिँ हामीले के थाहा पायौँ भने फार्मर्सहरूले पेस्ट र डिजिजहरू चाहिँ नि कहिले कहिले मात्रै आफैले राम्ररी आइडेन्टिफाई गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ र त्यो आइडेन्टिफाई गरिसकेपछि त्यसलाई म्यानेज गर्नको लागि चाहिँ धेरै जस्तोले केमिकल पेस्टिसाइड्सकै युज गर्नुहुन्छ र 422मा 22%ले चाहिँ के भन्नुभयो भने म पिपी किट युज गर्दिनँ भनेर भन्नुभयो किनभने मसँग छैन मैले कहिले युजै गरेको छैन सो मलाई त्यसको इम्पोर्टेन्स थाहा छैन अनि हामीले चाहिँ थाहा छ कि केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स पेस्टिसाइड्सहरू युज गर्यो भने हाम्रो हेल्थलाई कस्तो एडभर्स इफेक्ट पर्छ भनेर तर त्यही भएर हामीले चाहिँ अरू लेबरर्सहरू हायर गरेर गर्छौँ भन्नुभयो भनेपछि त आफ्नो ज्यान जोगाउनको लागि अरूको ज्यान त जोखिममा भइरहेको छ नि त होइन सो यस्तो कुराहरू हामीले थाहा पायौँ तर हामीले अर्को कुरा चाहिँ उहाँहरूले डिजिटल प्लेटफर्म चाहिँ नि 47%ले चाहिँ नि एग्रिकल्चर इन्फर्मेसन लिनको लागि प्रयोग गर्नुहुँदो रहेछ र त्यसमा पनि स्मार्टफोनबाट लिने चाहिँ धेरै हुनुहुन्थ्यो र हामीले थाहा पायौँ कि युट्युब फेसबुकहरू जुन यो भिडियो बेस्ड डिजिटल प्लेटफर्म्सहरू छ त्यो चाहिँ फार्मर्सहरूले धेरै युज गर्नुहुन्छ र यो केमिकल पेस्टिसाइड्सको युज चाहिँ नि हामीले भरतपुरमा त्यसलाई अलिकति के भइरहेछ रेगुलेट गर्ने चाहिँ नि मेकानिजम्स नै देखेनौँ हामीले केआइआई गर्दाखेरि पनि हामीसँग चाहिँ लोकल गभर्मेन्टहरूले चाहिँ के भन्नुभयो भने बजेटको अभाव छ यो निगरानीहरू गर्नको लागि भनेर पनि सेयर गर्नुभयो र कन्क्लुजनमा चाहिँ हामीले ह्युमन सेन्टर्ड डिजाइन अप्रोच युज गर्नुपर्छ ड्यास डिजाइन र स्केल गर्नको लागि जुन भनेको हामीले लोकल कन्टेक्स्ट बुझ्नुपर्छ फार्मर्सको निड बुझ्नुपर्छ फार्मर्सहरूको सोसियो इकोनोमिक कन्डिसन बुझ्नुपर्छ अनि मात्रै हामीले गर्न सक्छौँ एकदम कन्टेक्स्चुअल हुनुपर्छ र यो डिजाइन र स्केल मात्रै गरेर पनि हुँदैन जस्ट बिकज हामीले कसैलाई ड्यास इन्ट्रोड्युस गरिरहेछौँ तर उसले युज गर्यो अनि यत्तिकै छोडिदियो भने त्यसको भ्याल्यु हुँदैन हामीले चाहिँ त्यहाँबाट केही सिकेर चाहिँ बिहेभियरमा चेन्ज ल्याउन सक्यो भने चाहिँ त्यो इफेक्टिभ हुन्छ र हाम्रो रिसर्चहरूको बारेमा अझै थाहा पाउनु मन छ भने चाहिँ हाम्रो फ्यु जर्नल आर्टिकल्सहरू अलरेडी पब्लिस भएको छ यसबाहेक अरू पनि धेरै पाइपलाइनमा आइरहेको छ रिपोर्ट्स छ ब्लग्स छ अनि डिएफएफएसको बारेमा भिडियोज पनि छ यति भन्दै थ्याङ्क यू सो मच
Thank you so much, Bristi, for your wonderful presentation. I have a small request. As this is an international conference, so we have a very diverse participants. So I request everyone to present your technical presentation in English so that everyone can understand and we can be inclusive at the same time. So coming up next, we have Engineer Rabindra Kumar Karki, Program Manager from ID Nepal on technical presentation.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Respected chair, delegates from different organizations, and my friends, agriculture engineers. Good morning once again. Okay. Today, my name is Rabindra Kumar Karki. I work at ID Nepal as a project manager. And I'm also involving in the AgriPath projects since the beginning. And our study actually focused on the digital advisory services in Nepal, fragmentation, integration, and lesson for sustainable digital agriculture. So our study actually main key takeaways from the AgriPath field implementations and some SCD that we conducted in the field levels, which are also a little bit highlighted by our earlier presented in these sessions. So giving some background, why digital services matters. It matters because there is persistent access and gaps in the smallholder farmers level. In Nepal's public sectors also, have the extension services with the limited numbers of the extension services, actually struggles to provide the technical and capacity building supports at the field levels to the farmers. And also it dominates Nepal's agricultural landscape, frequently lacking the, localized and the practical advice on the crop management, pest outbreaks, soil health, and post-harvest practices. Similarly, there is a growing complexity of the climate risks, market, and inputs. on sorry, uh, the climate risks from the various aspects like landslide, floods, and erratic rainfalls and prolonged droughts are making farmers more risks, and also the pest, disease, and outbreaks. And there is also some rapid digital uptake, but uneven outcomes. So giving some glance on the AgriPath initiatives, as our previous presenters highlights, AgriPath Project is the multi-country initiatives implemented in the multiple countries, including Nepal, India, Burkina Faso, Tanzania, and Uganda. And it's more focused on the agriculture transitions to sustainable agriculture with focus on effective and efficient digital pathways. In Nepal, we're implementing it together with Kathmandu Universities and ID Nepal's. Our main project focus area is Karki and Sangja, though we have some outreach activities in other districts as well for the promotions and for the study proposed. So project being implemented in Nepal since 2022 to 2026. So what we work in the AgriPath projects. First, we work we conducted human-centered designs for digital advisory services, and also did some FarmBetter application app testings and demonstrations. FarmBetter is also the consortium partners of this AgriPath project. And also we did multi-level engagements from locals to provincials to national level. Similarly, we conducted some capacity building activities with extension agents, farmer cooperatives at the field level. So in the AgriPath, we compare 3 different models of FarmBetter applications. First is self-service, more focus on the farmers so they can use themselves. And second one is focus on extension agent facilitator models for the extension agents who actually linked with the farmers, provide the technical and the other supports to the farmers. And third one is the hybrid models, extension agents plus hybrid models with the WhatsApp integrations with the applications. So these are the 3 models that we tested at the grounds. And from the field level, from the tests, the self-service models, very easy to access, but the low sustained use. And whereas the agent-based models, high trust, but the limited scales. But the hybrid models seems strongest adoptions and the continuities. So key takeaways is that hybrid models are more effective combined with the trust. It has the scalability and continuous learning, driving stronger adoption and sustainable use. The hybrid model actually connects with farmers and extension agents and provides the timely information by interaction between them. So human-centered design, we conducted pre and post launch of the application. So from the HCD, we found that the effective DAS model must be deeply localized, must have the local contents with the local language, with local technologies and approaches within the DAS systems, and must be embedded with the functional ecosystems of people's market and institutions. And also there are key 4 drivers that's highlighted in the SCDs. The DAS must provide immediate values, quick and visible solution to the farmers, and also have the social proofs that through the trusted peers and through the demonstrations. And also the farmers have the self-determinations for the DAS applications. They have the choice of pathways, which application is better to them, not only focus on the farm betters or not geocaching only khetis. And there must be frictionless adoptions, linking advice, inputs, finance, and markets. So digital is not enable, it's substitutes. A critical insight from the study is farmers are actively using the various social media platforms, WhatsApp, Facebook, TikToks, even the AI tools. But the extension agents or farmers mostly trust the local resources, local source of informations like extension agents, agrobates, and cooperatives leaders or the leader farmers. While implementing the AgriPaths, we also observed that the AI in the DAS also increasing as emerge as the practical support tools to the farmers, and some farmers, extension agents, will start using some AI applications. So we see some values in the AI for the content customizations, for the rapid response, and also for the translation and simplifications. So we found that the adoptions actually remains dependent on the human validations and the facilitation. So beside some human-centered design and study, we engage with a different tier of the governments from nationals to the local levels. Though the national levels engagement is limited and the local levels engagement is quite large. So at the federal levels, we engage with the different policy stakeholders for deliberation of policies, and also engage with the different public and private and the entrepreneurs and the impact investors through the innovations workshops. Similarly, at the provincial levels, we work with the different government line agencies, institutions, and DAS stakeholders, organizing the sensitive workshops, learning sharing events, and the steering committee meeting of the project. At the ground level, we conducted various capacity building activities, primarily focused on the upskilling of the farmers, of the digital literacies, social land management, gender, Geze, and other some field level activities of the DAS demonstration trainings to the farmers and cooperatives, and also engaging with private sectors stakeholders like Kheti, Urban Venture, and also establishment of the adaptive learning network of the cooperative farmers. So how engagement at the local levels actually we performed. This picture shows the upskilling of the farmers, extension as the DAS stakeholders. Actually, we developed DAS champions, providing the technical trainings, taught trainings to the DAS champions. We developed 55 number of those champions who then provide the digital literacy training to the cooperatives farmers groups. Similarly, we organized several gender mainstreaming and the social land management trainings to the farmers groups. So from the multi-level engagements, at the system levels, we found several constraints. There are large number of the initiatives conducted by the public sector and the private sectors, like from the in Pokhara, Kaski regions, the Pokhara Kirsi, and there are several others mobile applications available in the markets for the digital advisories. But we found that there is low effective use of those applications. There is also limited extension capacity restrictions that impacts due to the limited number of the extension offices, and also the mobilization of the private sector's extension agents. There needs follow-up, mentorship, and the facilitations. And also there is low digital skills across farmers, cooperatives, and extension workers. The pattern shows there is tool exist, various digital applications, tools, but a system don't. At the local level, what farmer experience? So farmers have the tremendous access to digital advisory through the mobile applications and the various other approaches, but the information is overload and widespread. And also there is a fragmented messaging across the different platforms. Some mobile applications provides digital advisory on the insect pests, and some provides and others. And there is also challenges in identifying the credible advice from the different channels, even from the digital advisories or the social medias and others. So the trust, but there is trust anchors farmers trust the most local resources, local sources of information, primarily the extension agents who are closely connected, and also there are lead farmers and the cooperatives. There is also some system-level challenges, like, for example, for Pokhara Krishi and the Kheti, they have the easy initial uptake. The app is promoted very easily, but there is a difficulty in sustained engagement with the users. And users also have some weak sense of the user ownerships. So from our engagement with a different level of government and the stakeholders, the promotion of the applications of digital tools doesn't reflect the adoption of the tools. And also adoption of the tools doesn't reflect the sustainable use. There needs some long-term engagements, facilitation, and mentoring and backstopping to the farmers. And the key barriers that we found faced by the women, particularly limited phone ownership, device are being shared with family members, with their husbands or their children, and low confidence of using the ICTs. And there is also some barriers of the language and literacies among the women farmers. And the restriction of social norms, and also the heavy households and farm workloads. So implication is digital inclusion requires intentional design and the facilitations to humans. So what's the gaps in system levels? While discussing with a different, engaging with a different level of governments and the private sectors, it come out that there is lack on national level digital integration frameworks so that can engage or integrate the various private and the public sectors together. So there is weak coordination and interoperability, and also the high private sector risks because of the fragmentations and the huge effort in the DAS development, the DAS sectors from the private sectors. So fragmentation discourages long-term investments. In conclusions, there are four main conclusions. So DAS should be user-centric, friendly tools that drive the adoptions. And also digital integration is no longer optional in the agricultural sectors. It is essential. And fragmentation limits impacts. And finally, integration enables scale and sustainability. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rabindra sir, for wonderful presentation. I have a small notice that we are also live telecasting this event through the official Facebook page of Nepalese Society of Agricultural Engineering, NSAE. Now, for the final presentation on digital advisory service, we have Mini Wan GQ ma'am, who is Director Program Management of Farm Better. And this presentation is going to be virtual as well.
Good morning and namaste. After this digital advisory session, we have some presentations related to digital agriculture. So after finishing these 4 or 5 presentations, we are dedicated to ID and AgriPath. So after finishing this session, then there will be another 2 or 3 presentation in digital services, digital agriculture. After that, there will be 2 solo presentation. One from Professor Bimsrest from Kathmandu University and another from Professor Asutosh Shukla. I believe they have prepared their presentation. Professor Shukla sir, have you brought your presentation? Okay. So after finishing, there will be 2 solo presentation. Thank you.
We are trying to connect our next presenter virtually, so please be patient and be seated.
Yes, yes, I can proceed. What? I'm not speaking. Okay, so I can start with the presentation. Okay, great. I hope my screen is visible. Okay. Good morning, namaste everyone. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols are held. My name is Gini Wanjiko. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I am the Director of Programs and Customer Success at FarmBetter. So I'm going to do a brief presentation of the work that we have done with the consortium members under AgriPath, and specifically what we've learned as a digital service provider for agriculture and in the agtech space. Just a moment. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard of this, but a lot of smallholder farmers especially are the ones who are at the mercy of a lot of what is happening, especially climate change, and they lack a lot of resilience. So what we are offering under this project and also commercially to our partners is a way for them to be able to give sustainable and implementable advice using a digital tool, and I'll explain the tools that we use shortly. So what we're here for is just to empower farmers to become a little bit more climate resilient and improve their livelihood. And their livelihoods, usually what we've learned in this project is that it improves in ways that we don't even expect. So what is the biggest problem in agricultural extension? I've seen the profiles of most of you here. I'm sure you've seen this already and it has been previously mentioned. One is that there are a lot of farmers and very few extension agents. So it means that especially smallholder farmers are literally do not have access to an extension agent in their life, but most of the time they're accessible, they have access to their farmer friends. And then secondly, most of what the information that is being used is usually outdated because the handbooks and the manuals received by the farmers have yet to be updated in a long time. Even the weather patterns and crop specific needs, even including the soil specific needs, at most points, they're not updated. And finally, the cost of extension. Even if the extension services were to be offered by the government, it would be very difficult and expensive to scale. The reason being, it's very human resource heavy, which means that you probably need at least one extension to about 100 farmers, and that is not currently possible. But with a digital tool like FarmBetter or any other digital advisory tool, it's very easy to scale because you use mobile technology vis-a-vis the traditional technology. So we at FarmBetter, through AgriPath, have been able to refine a product, and we finally come up with a 3-in-1 product. One, we offer WhatsApp advisory, through the WhatsApp chat bot for farmers. The reason we're using WhatsApp and not any other tool is because farmers are already familiar with using WhatsApp as a mode of communication. So it is easier for us to use a tool that they already use on a daily. Then we have a mobile app for extension service providers, farmer advisors. And then finally, for organizations, we have a dashboard that is able to tie the two together, and then you can be able to see at the back end an organization what is happening on the field. So this is what the chatbot looks like. We just say hi to our WhatsApp chatbot number that we usually offer, and then that chatbot responds to you with pre-fed information. So this chatbot ideally allows a farmer to onboard themselves. The onboard meaning that they put their phone number, they put their location, and the reason we require their location is because we want to map out the good practices that we are sharing from work to the location they are in, and that differs from place to place because of soil, altitude, and latitude and all. And then from the same extension, from the same chatbot, a farmer can be able to access their extension agent and link directly to them and report a problem. So you know how you share friends and you share with friends, or rather, sorry, photos and videos and voice notes. A farmer can be able to do the same thing on WhatsApp, and that goes directly to the extension agent's app, and he can be able to see the problem that is being shared by the farmer. But the farmer only uses WhatsApp to chat to the extension agent. When an extension agent gives the farmer an answer, it leaves their app and goes to WhatsApp. So the main form of communication by the extension agent and the farmer is using a WhatsApp chatbot. The same chatbot allows a farmer to link to a community that is near them, peer-to-peer, such that, because sometimes you notice that farmers have non-scientific ways that work in terms of agriculture. So the chatbot allows farmers to be able to share those innovations amongst themselves, and they can be able to safely do that using a WhatsApp community. And of course, you can still be able to access their sustainable good practices. What we've done with the ID Nepal team is also add practices that are very specific, crop specific, meaning we look at what farmers grow in a specific region, and then we add content that is specific to that. In lieu to make the app, the chatbot and the app a little bit more sticky, give more value, especially immediate value to the farmers, as well as allow the farmers to be able to see the information that is more culturally appropriate to what they're doing on a regular. The extension agent app, this is how it looks like. So this allows an extension agent to be able to put all the activities, perhaps it's through a program, perhaps it's through an organization. So an extension agent will get to understand these are your deliverables for the month or for the growing season. So the farmer extension agent, can be able to add the activities they've planned, the farm demos they've planned. They can be able to add a list of their farmers, such that if an organization wants to understand how many extension agents are, how many farmers each extension agent is supporting, and the location of those extension agents and farmers, it is very possible using the tool that we have here. So it integrates directly with WhatsApp for farmers. So the extension agent starts a conversation on the app, but the conversation ends on the farmer's WhatsApp chatbot. The extension agent can do a group message. Perhaps he's inviting farmers for a demo day or the farmer field school. They can be able to do that here. They can also be able to share reading materials in preparation of what they're planning to do. They can be able to see the reported problems by a farmer. That comes in form of voice, written, pictures and videos, and they can be able to do that. And they can also be able to access a good practice. And finally, we have the dashboard. So this is what is available, excuse me, for the organization itself. So you want a tool that ties what the extension agent is doing and what the farmer is doing in real time. So if I am a farmer and I'm onboarded by an extension agent, immediately you can see my profile, you can see my name, my gender, if I'm supporting any members, my marital status, if it's important to a project, especially because of impact. It shows you the crops I grow, the animals I keep, and my location to give altitude and longitude, which means that you have a very robust farmer profile that allows you to make decisions internally as an organization, or even organizations actually for us, they vary. It could be a cooperative, a farmer cooperative, it could be a farmer group. And such information is useful in the sense that if you're looking to partner with someone, for example, you're looking to partner with a financier, then you already have farmer information that can be able to be used to make decisions, e.g. Credit worthiness, e.g. What crops they grow, and if they have the ability to make a payment. So it shows exactly what is happening on the ground, and you can monitor from any location without having to be on the ground exactly. So what have we achieved so far as FarmBetter? We have about 47,000 active farmers. So what we're looking at is not the number of downloads that we have. We're looking to have farmers and extension agents who access the WhatsApp chatbot and or access the good practices that are shared by the extension agent. And so we have noticed that if we have a hybrid is something that Rabindra spoke about. Farming is more like education. You could learn a lot by yourself, but you learn go much further with a group of people who are sharing the same interest. We're in 3 continents, South America, Africa, and Asia. We are working with 5 value crops, that being value chain, sorry, that being rice, coffee, dairy, potato, and that's what we've covered so far. And the reason we are looking to work with value crop, is because most farmers in Africa, and I'm sure sometimes in Asia, you find that farmers are in a cooperative. So it's easier to get, you can be able to bargain better prices, and also the cooperative already has the trust of the farmers. So you're not going to have to do a lot of KYC for the farmers that you onboard. Plus the cooperative already has 3,000, 4,000 farmers. It beats the effort of onboarding one farmer at a time. Through a research we did, we noticed that if farmers, and because we only support sustainable agriculture is a vision of the company and as was requested by the AgriPath research, we were able to see farmers get a bit of 55% yield over 6 months. This is, of course, putting into consideration that a lot of soil had been damaged previously and there's a lot of healing to do. And about 17% or so said they got some form of double income. That is because most of the sales they do are at farm gate. So if they're able to collaborate with, for example, an off-taker like Katie, then it means that if they were getting 0 per se, or very less than $1, then it means that an off-taker can be able to give them a better price. So what are we looking at in terms of strategic partnership? As I mentioned, we are collaborating with cooperatives because, again, of the number of farmers under a cooperative umbrella. We're looking at off-takers because off-takers want to have an ensured quality that they off-take, which means that they need to work backwards and ensure that the right seed is planted and the right practices are put in place to ensure the right value that is gotten to them. Processors have the same problem. NGOs are working on programs, but you want a place that all the data sits and you can be able to see the data in real time. Research institutions require a similar thing. And then private sector partners, because of the reach they have and the programs that they actually conduct. So this is a map of where we are at, and this comes off very many projects that we've already doing. So what's the approach that we've learned for scaling DAS? One, there's a form of co-creation, and it could be a co-creation within your ecosystem. So this is what we've learned ideally. So we integrate into existing programs and we partner with bodies that work with farmers. Under sustainability, we have had to look at 2 models. So we have a commercial model where we actively look for off-takers and cooperatives who are going to pay, because farmers ideally can pay, but there are so many things that are pulling at their purse strings, they cannot afford to pay despite their willingness. However, if you go through a cooperative or an organization of sorts, that cooperative, farmers get a prorated value vis-a-vis them paying by themselves. And then quality assurance. So what we're doing here, we're using content that, one, is very scientific, very validated, and or content that is coming from our partners, in this case IDE, because they've already curated the data, and that is the data that they'd like their farmers or participating farmers to work with. And then what we've done with the app and the country coordinators from the 5 different countries under AgriPath, that being Nepal, India, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Burkina Faso, is that we continuously are working on making the app better for the farmer and the extension agent. So we are not just satisfied with the product that we've made because it works in terms of technology. We need it to work in terms of the user at the very end. And Bristi mentioned that we did a bit of HCD to ensure that the app works for the women, the men, the youth, as well as everyone in the ecosystem. So what has worked so far? A farmer-centric design. So it means that ideally, most farmers do not have the smartphones that you have. So it means that if the farmer, the phone reports to be full in terms of capacity, they will delete what deems unimportant, but they'll not delete social media tools like TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook. So it means that when you're creating a solution For a subset of people, you consider what tools they use on a regular, because one, it means that you don't have to teach them how to use WhatsApp because they already know how to use WhatsApp. So you use tools that they're familiar with and tools that they will not delete from their phones in the case of space. We're also doing a hybrid model. As I mentioned, farmers do not learn alone. So you need to do a connection of farmers to each other and farmers to a person who holds the information in the name of an extension agent. Then, of course, there's localization, as is the app is available in the different countries in their different languages. And we are looking to also add content that is particular, even in terms of dialect, to the different regions, to ensure that farmers access information from people who look like them, that looks like in languages that is familiar with them, in terms of all the way in terms to dialect. This is something we've noticed, that you give farmers information, a man is explaining how to farm, the women are not too comfortable with looking at it, and vice versa. So it means that we have to tailor even how they view the message and who they receive the message from. So if men folk receive messages from a man who's older and looks this way, we have to tailor it to that. Then we are working with trusted intermediaries who are the extension agents, mostly that sit in cooperatives and farmer groups. So it means that farmers already trust that person. So information is received better, adoption is received better. User experience, as I mentioned, use WhatsApp, use the tools that farmers already use, avoid apps, especially for farmers, and then give value pretty on. So quickly, immediately you onboard to the chatbot, you're able to see the learnings, you're able to see the communities, and soon we're also going to be able to use WhatsApp, an AI-powered model that still uses the same things, that gives you first aid information, but still allows you to link to extension agent in case you need more information. What we've had to overcome, digital literacy. So how we've overcome this is we are allowing the farmers to report the problems in videos, in pictures, in their own languages. And we've also co-created content with extension agents such that then everything looks familiar to the farmer. Another challenge, building trust, because you're a new organization. I mean, if you look at the consortium, it's everyone from all over the world. So it means that you need to build trust, because what does an African know about Nepal? I don't know anything about Nepal other than what I know. But if I work with a partner like IDE, I'm able to be able to get access to their farmers because of the trust they've created. And then the last mile connectivity, we are working to have a platform that has low bandwidth, possibly offline, especially in access of information, because not all farmers live in places they can access data quite easily, and sometimes the cost of data is very high. So what are we looking forward to? We have learned quite a lot through AgriPath, and we're looking to partner with organizations, especially in the regions we've already worked in, because we've already gotten a bit of information out of that. At the moment, we're integrating AI and machine learning for the WhatsApp chatbot, which means that if a farmer goes and takes a picture, kind of what is there in, sorry, I forget the app. It takes a picture of the app, of the problem. For example, if it's a coffee, it takes a picture of coffee. If it's rice, it takes a picture of rice. You take a picture rather, and then the AI gives you what it gives you, it assumes the problem to be, with about an 80% or so percentage in terms of confidence. And then it tells you, this is what I think it is firsthand, because again, depends on your camera, the lighting, and then tells you, please connect to your extension agent. And it does not hallucinate. So it will not look for information. If it doesn't have an answer, our advisory tool will tell you, I do not know, please connect to extension agent. That ideally means that farmers are not using Google prescribed solutions, but more solutions that are tied with what is happening exactly. Then we're looking for public-private partnerships for stable funding models, that being grants as well as commercial. And then we're looking to get more feedback from farmers who are continuously using the app. And then we're looking to scale through knowledge sharing and capacity building with partners in the locations we've worked with. And finally, in the very end, we look to be able to have an open source tool and framework. We already, I believe GFA USA has already spoken of the framework we're going to share. So we're not looking to just hold the information and everything we've learned over the last 5 years. We are open to sharing that with anyone who's coming up. Either you're a DAS operator, you're a cooperative, you're an off-taker. We are willing to help you with all the information that we've learned so far. So this is who we've worked with, who our partners are. This is the entire team, mostly based in Nairobi, Kenya. And then that's it. From Farmbeta, Rabindra has my information. You can reach out, and then we will be able to see how to be able to support you or your organization in terms of what a DAS looks like, what we've learned so far, or if you want to test our DAS with a group of farmers or a project, you can reach out, and then I'll be able to assist you on how to onboard and use the tools that we've been able to create so far. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you so much, Mini Wanjuku ma'am, Director Program Management of Farm Better, and thank you to all our presenters, especially highlighting the idea, innovation, and impact AgriPath has been making. Now we have opened the floor for discussion and question and answer session, for which we have around 20 minutes. So I'd like our session chair, Manila ma'am, to moderate this question and answer sessions. And as Geze sir has highlighted, we are expecting questions from our fresh graduate as well. So please be a part of this discussion.
Thank you, Sudeepaji. Good morning, namaskar, everyone. My name is Manila Kharel. I work as Director of Program at ID Nepal. Technically, I am from agriculture background. Now the floor is open for question and answers. In total, we had 5 presentations. All the presentations were largely focused on digital agri-advisory services, how it can be scaled up, what could be the potential business model, and can really the digital agri-advisory services help farmers to transform their agriculture systems in Nepal. So I invite questions, clarifications, queries, whatever you have. Please help with the mic. While asking the questions, please provide your name and also provide the name of the presenter you want to ask the question.
Okay.
I think you are not audible. Yes, you are audible now. Please go ahead.
Hello, namaste. My name is Ravi Prasad Chaudhary, and my query is to Mr. Rabindra sir from ID and their team. Actually, he had talked about climate vulnerability. So, is there any notification regarding to farmer that actually in harvesting time, most of the time, flood and rain damage to crops? So, is there any notification or risk management to this system?
Thank you for the question. First, I collect 3 questions, and then I will ask, request presenters to respond to the questions.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My question is to Rabindra Karki, sir. Can this digital advisory services made voice assistant from the very beginning? Farmer enters or open the app?
Thank you for the question. Next question.
Hello. Yeah, hello, namaste everyone. My name is Ladli Gupta and I'm an agriculture engineer. My question is redirected to Mr. Rabindra sir. And basically it's the queries. Can digital advisory service optimize irrigation scheduling based on soil moisture, crop stage and weather forecast? That's all, thank you.
So I request Rabindra ji to respond to the questions because all 3 questions are directed towards Rabindra ji. It is about like if there is climate vulnerability, any kind of flood, does the notification goes to the farmers, and does the digital agriculture services provide like irrigation schedule to the farmers and they can respond to it. So over to you, Rabindra ji.
Okay, thank you so much for your questions. Yeah, some are related to me and some are, I think, directly related to the digital service providers like farm baiters and other digital providers. Regarding the different informations from the applications, yes, obviously we can get different information from the digital advisory services, but it depends on which kind of digital advisory services we are using. Like from the farm baiters, mostly it is focused on the sustainable land management practices. And like similar other digital advisory services available in the Nepal market, lot of agriculture digital advisory services available, more than 30 applications in Nepal. Like GeoCrisis provide large numbers of the informations, including disease-based with recorded and the audible sounds. Similarly, Kheti and others. So it depends upon the which applications. In Nepal, currently, all the applications are operating individually with investment of the private sectors. So it depends upon the which applications, which DAS tools they are using. We can get the different informations. Yep. I think I covered. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Rabindraji, for the response. As Rabindraji has mentioned, like in Nepal, we have a lot of digital apps and tools. He said like around 30, like GeoCrisis, Smart Krishi, Kheti, and many others. And each tool provides the unique features to the farmers. Some provides sustainable land management, some provides about soil management and weather advisory services. So each have their unique features, and how we bring all these digital tools and apps together so that it becomes easy for the farmers. Currently farmers are also very confused because there are a lot of digital apps available in the market. So I think one of the way forward is to bring all these apps together to help farmers to make the right decision. Yes, please.
Yeah, if I start and then I can handle the mic. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Nice one. Yeah, I've been hearing about this app. You also mentioned that there are numerous applications already in the floor, in the market. My query is about, you also mentioned, I don't know who exactly, mentioned that farmers can put their query in the WhatsApp, and then if they cannot get the answer from the app, they can reach out to the agent. The query is like there are a number of terminologies provided here nowadays. I know about the citizen science. Citizens are used, and then if we are using a number of terminologies, and there may be a confusion that could create a confusion to the farmers as well, like whether they are citizen science or whether they are agents. So to me, who are those agents, and how can the farmer reach to those agents? Also, you also mentioned that another it is difficult for farmer to maybe the language barrier, maybe the cultural barrier. Like how are we going to take into these considerations? I think these are important basic things that we need to have to get through these applications so that farmer could get a proper information to their needs. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Next question, please, sir.
Yeah, I think it's, I like to experience about this digital advisories in India. A lot of startups have closed down in the last 5 years. Actually, digital advisory, 3 parts I differentiate. First one is how to plant, when to plant, especially for the rainfed crops. It's very useful looking at the weather data when he can plant, because the water is required in the beginning. This has been successful in India also in many parts. But unfortunately, even in India, we don't have weather stations. We have only at taluka-wise weather stations. These are the biggest problem, weather station costing around 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs right now. We are trying to address the issue. Second one is digital advisories are very useful for disease detection. Yeah. For example, in cotton, we still don't have means to find out the worm, what's the name, bollworm, okay? We don't have the, still the tool. Normally diseases are detected after 15 days of the first attack. This is the real from entomology. So the advisory on that quickly, which can reach the other farmers, is good. And instead of that, we can give IPM, also one of the important factors we have to consider. Third one is, which all these Asian countries lack, is the estimation, crop estimation. We don't have, only crop cutting yesterday was talked. This can help very much the digital, because the governments have to plan what to import. You see, many countries import, and they found out it is more. So I think these three, we have to concentrate on that. Instead of giving, for example, soil condition, because there are no tools to measure the soil health. And there are no tools to automate the irrigation till now affordable. Thank you.
May I add something to your query? I don't know, maybe I would like to share some experience from my project recently. So regarding the thing you mentioned about weather stations, yeah, definitely we really lack a weather station. It also depends on what sort of information we need to collect for these applications. So recently we have conducted one project in Dhankuta where we had also a limited source of this weather information. So what we did is we actually taught a farmer, actually, that's why I use a citizen science, how to measure the temperature and then rainfall data. So we installed very simple, that would cost around 10,000 rupees. And then they can put it nearby their farm area, and they can collect it every day when there is a rainfall. So maybe we can integrate those data or share this data to the weather station or whether those agencies who is looking for the weather information, and then if they can integrate it in their system, that would also help. Because right now we have very much limited weather stations, and then we need to have this interpolation, extrapolation method that could be, you know, I mean, the weather are very localized nowadays, so we cannot have exact, outcome from those weather stations which are already existed in the area. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Thank you. Any additional questions?
My query, I mean, as far as value is concerned, undoubtedly, you know, it makes tremendous sense given the current context of Nepal, wherein, you know, local governments are entrusted with the responsibility to deliver extension service, where there is tremendous capacity gap, okay? So it makes a lot of sense to, you know, promote this. But my query really, you know, relates to, as far as digital literacy is concerned, you know, it has enhanced tremendously over last decade. But then how is digital literacy currently being used? There is a big question, okay? So, you know, orienting the farmers to really use this service, there is a big challenge. So, you know, my query is directed to all the presenters here. How are you investing to, you know, translate digital literacy into digital education? Because at the end of the day, you need to develop that appreciation among the farmers.
Thank you, sir. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. I'm Kumar, professor from Bangladesh Agriculture University. Actually, it's really nice to see the presentation, different presentation of the digital advisory service. So the things actually, the backbone of this providing service is the data. So I don't know that how this data will be captured for providing real-time solution to the farmers. At the same time, actually that we probably, you need to think of connecting the relevant ministry or extension agency for providing this service, because we don't want to confuse farmers with so many options. So there should be a kind of recommendation from the ministries that this kind of apps can be used for providing services to the farmers. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, next question here in the front.
Good morning. It's me, Samir Sakya, faculty member to Department of Agricultural Engineering.
And for the last 12 years, I've been teaching agricultural extension education. And this topic dash will be my another brick in the wall. So regarding digital advisory services, we've been talking about digital literacy, but parallelly, there is a terminology called a digital divide. There's a great divide between the service provider and we, the consumer. So what will be the advocacy policies in the coming days? And regarding this digital twinning, I think this digital device, smartphone is not only for Facebook and TikTok. I repeat, it's not only for Facebook and TikTok. It's for about the transformation of agriculture. So how can ID be working with this project? How can ID do advocacy to literate much more farmers in Nepal? That's my question.
Thank you. Now I pause before I take another round of questions. May I request Rabindra again, because he is the country coordinator for AgriPath Project, and most of the questions are relevant to him as well. So the questions are basically around, like the digital divide, like farmers, how can we make digital literacy translate digital literacy into digital educations? Farmers have different kinds of problems and challenges, so how we make it specific to the farmers? How can we collect the data to provide real-time information to the farmers? So it's all about providing context-specific digital advisory services to the farmers. Rabindra, may I request you to respond briefly?
Before I respond, I request so many questions also related to the digital advisories and the mobile applications.
Yes. Okay. I understand your concerns. Thank you very much for the questions. I'd start by saying that first, AgriPath was a research project to understand if a digital tool can be able to accelerate the way extension is done. That is what the 5-year project was meant to do ideally. But what we have discovered while creating the tool is that actually our tool has evolved based on the farmers' evolution. Initially, when we started out in Nepal, farmers were primarily using Facebook Messenger as a tool of accessing information. As WhatsApp became a tool that they were understanding and using, we then morphed our tool to work not on Facebook Messenger, but on WhatsApp. So what the DAS ecosystem needs to do, one, is create tools based on, the farmer evolution. In terms of, can we create tools that work for the farmer? Unfortunately, it is not the work of just one provider to do it, because you cannot do everything. Each tool is usually specific to a problem you're solving. I'd ask more for private partnerships and public partnerships as well, because you find that each app is doing just one thing for the farmer and not all the things. So it would mean that all the DAS actors need to sit down, even including the government, to see, can we create one super tool that gives ideally the farmer about 90% of what they need, that being the growing cycles, a crop calendar. It could also be mapping, reported, for example, the meteorological department reports heavy rains coming next week. So it ties a good practice or sustainable agriculture based on what has been predicted. Those are some of the things that we are working on, but unfortunately, we cannot solve all the problems for the farmer because they're various, but partnerships would be able to help us to, one, appreciate what every DAS provider is doing, because you find you have your Geokrishi, there's FarmBetter, there's Keti, there's so and so. So we need a seat at the table where we all come and listen to either a physical farmer or a proverbial farmer who says, this is what farmers need in terms of a tool. And then what can each player do in that tool. Because, for example, if we need financing, DAS cannot provide financing. If it's insurance, we can't provide insurance. If off-taking, we can't provide off-taking. But we need to have everyone sit at the table and listen to what the farmer needs and create a tool, a super tool, call it, that provides at least 90% of it. But what we're doing right now with AI is we already have a weather alert on the app as well as on the chatbot. And then when that weather alert comes to the farmer, it then tells the farmer, we're expecting heavy rains that have been reported in these areas, for example. This is what you need to do to be resilient in time for the heavy rain, and this is how to do the thing. So we are trying to map out what we're doing, and we're using tools that we have, for example, AI, to be able to reach farmers and be very precise in terms of information. I hope I've addressed most of the questions that have been asked.
Thank you, Minnie, for responding to the questions. I think I'm informed that our time is up for question and answer. So I thank all the presenters and the participants who asked the questions, made it very lively and interactive. So in a nutshell, as Minnie also mentioned, and I also said earlier that farming is very complex. So farmers need a lot of different kinds of advisories and services. And there are different tools and apps available in the market. There are different kinds of the service providers, and one cannot solve all the problem. So I think definitely the way forward is to bring together all the service providers together in one platform and to explore new kind of partnerships and collaborative mechanisms to provide one platform or like one-stop solution or one hub that can provide all kinds of digital agro-advisory services to the farmers. I'm not sure whether that is possible or not, but definitely the way forward is to bring all the actors together and explore different kind of partnership mechanism to help farmers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you once again to all the presenters for highlighting the idea, innovation, and impact behind AgriPath. ID has been indeed fostering prosperity in Nepal, building value chains and innovation business models in key sectors like agriculture. With this, we have come to an end for the session of Digital Advisory Service, but I'd like to remind we still have 3 more presentations on latest technological innovation in agriculture. So please be seated. And for that session, I'd like to request Yunika Gautam to take over the session. With this, I, Sudipa Shrestha, would like to bid farewell. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Respected dignitaries, honorable session chairs, distinguished speakers, researchers, professionals, and dear participants. A very warm welcome. I am Yunika Gautam, your host for next 2 sessions and a member of organizing committee of this ongoing International Conference 2026 on Agricultural Engineering and Climate Smart Agriculture, organized by Nepalese Society of Agricultural Engineers in collaboration with ID Nepal. I hope you are enjoying fruitful sessions till now. Reconvening this session, now we'll have presentation on the theme, Latest Technological Innovation in Agriculture. Here we have session chairs Manila ma'am, Director of Program, ID Nepal. Also, keynote speakers, Sangeeta Shrestha, Senior Agricultural Engineer, Department of Agriculture. Randhir Kumar Saha, sir, Senior Divisional Engineer, Department, Water Resource and Irrigation. So, moving forward, as we are running short of time, I will be showing cue card if you are having ahead of your allotted time. Now I would like to invite on the dais Professor Asutosh Shukla, Senior Agricultural Engineer. Mr. Shukla, the floor is all yours for the next 7 minutes.
since my time has started, let me start right away. Well, I think, kindly bear with me. You are going to listen to a Victorian era engineer. So my presentation is black and white, okay? Easy to your eye. But then my colleague, Madhusudan ji, will come up with a fairly colored presentation, colorful presentation. Now, over next 5 to 7 minutes, I'm going to share with you 3 things, okay? Rather 4 things. I'll set the context for, reimagining knowledge and technology evolution in agricultural engineering. Then I'll talk about, what knowledge and technology evolution really means to me. And then third thing that I'm going to talk is, what to me are the priority areas of investing in knowledge and technology innovation in agricultural engineering. And last thing is, how can we, what is the real need of innovation in agricultural engineering education? Because at the end of the day, it is the ecosystem for innovation which matters, wherein, education is going to play a very critical role. Now, here is the context. The innovation and evolution path of agricultural engineering to this date has been located largely in a green revolution model, okay, wherein, our focus has been on incremental mechanization, irrigated agriculture, and mechanization of post-harvest operations. We started realizing inflection point in agricultural engineering beginning 1990, which further consolidated in the period after 2000. And this inflection point is coming from 4 changes which is witnessed in this part of time: climate variability and stress, in the production system. Then socio-economic transformation, which is, taking place across the region, including in Nepal. And this is coming up really, in a big change in the labor system and change in the income basket. Then urbanization is emerging as a major stressor. Lot of land use changes resulting from urbanization in Tarai. And then dietary shift. There has been, significant increase in the demand for livestock products, fruits, vegetables, and particularly processed products. We are living in an era of consumerism. So, the challenge ahead is assimilating these changes. And then this will be possible only through, promotion of skill-appropriate mechanization. So making a shift from incremental mechanization to skill-appropriate mechanization, labor-saving production technology, resource and input use efficiency, cost and quality competitiveness. Now, how this transition is possible? It will be possible only through, investing on climate smartness, input and resource use efficiency, digital integration, and gender, social, and environmental inclusiveness. And these are the areas where agricultural engineers can play a leadership role. Now, how can we imagine innovation? By definition, innovation is the process of creating new ideas, products, services that help achieve resource use efficiency, cost effectiveness, scale appropriateness, service delivery, loss minimization, and quality assurance. Now, I buy the idea which Dr. Saeed shared yesterday. Invention comes once in a while. So invention is creating new knowledge, new technology. But innovation is something, you know, making that new technology or knowledge work. And, you know, only caution is then we need to make a distinction between jugaad technology and innovation. Okay? Now, jugaad is also a technology at our backyard, and we have been doing this. And in South Asia, we are famous for jugaad technology. But the innovation is not the jugaad technology. You really need to, you know, invest in a knowledge system which helps optimize the system, product, and process for assured and sustainable outcome. And this is where science-based innovation or science-supported innovation matters. Now, quickly, faring across, you know, the priority areas to me are, for example, climate smart water and land management system. So something where IDE actually pioneered it in the last decade, making micro irrigation farmers technology. Okay. Now then, weather-informed irrigation scheduling matters a lot. Okay, and then we have technology available, making the sensors, you know, installing the sensors and making the sensors really work in the field to, you know, and then that can be linked to digital platforms, and that creates opportunity for climate smart water and land management system. Scale appropriate mechanization. So, you know, mini tillers have reached almost all our villages. These mini tillers are essentially prime movers, okay? And if we limit it to tillage use only, then, you know, that does not justify farmers' investment. So, you know, the innovation that is demanded is on, you know, devising multiple use of prime mover. Okay, community farm machinery custom hiring center, something, you know, which has really emerged. And then my colleague here is going to talk next in next 5 minutes, what are the empirical evidences we have on custom hiring services, okay? But then, you know, Uber model, for example, when Pathao can work as a, all right, 2 minutes, wonderful. When Pathao can work as a, you know, ride-sharing arrangement in Kathmandu Valley, okay, thinking of Uber system. Now, the reason I'm, you know, proposing this is, if you look into north-south divide in Tarai, you know, rice transplanting takes place at least 2 weeks ahead, okay, in the northern part of Tarai as compared to southern part, okay, and then the machinery becomes idle, okay. So, you know, someone among us, and then has to, you know, take up this opportunity as entrepreneurship in shared farm machinery use, pooled farm machinery use, okay. Renewable energy integration, for example, you know, circular bioeconomy, waste to energy system, solar pumping, composting, biochar production, digital and precision agriculture, we have talked enough, and then post-harvest engineering, that is where the future lies. Now the last part, is on innovation need in agricultural engineering education. See, Purvanchal campus at Dharan under IOE, this is very appropriately located. This is right in the, Nepal's agricultural innovation hub in the eastern region. Thing that is grossly lacking at Purvanchal campus is, this institution has been lacking continuing nourishment and support. Now, areas of continuing educational innovation that is really needed at IOE Purvanchal campus is, bringing the students outside the classroom. And this is very, very important. You need to connect with the community in the neighborhood, okay? And this holds the importance in, preparing the students for as entrepreneur, take up entrepreneurship, okay? Promoting lab and demonstration farm, okay, which is very, very important, prototyping lab, and then making the students appreciate that more knowledge is got outside the classroom, and therefore linking with the people, institution, agencies outside the classroom. And this young generation sitting at the back, you need to really speak out. This is era of communication. Unless you know how to talk, how to express your feeling, your opinion, so you really need to come up with that, okay? And I worked there for a decade, and I know when you start doing that, opportunity starts translating to your end, okay? Now, Saeed sir, my humble submission is, you have been a tremendous motivator, so try considering coming, spending some time at Purvanchal campus, at least for a few days in a year, okay? And then talking to this young mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Sukla, for your powerful presentation. No doubt, it is indeed essential to modernize the agricultural sector of Nepal. We need to focus and adopt new innovation and technology. Moving forward, now I would like to invite Dr. Madhusudan Vatrai, development economist and impact evaluation expert. Dr. Vatrai, you also have 7 minutes time limit. Thank you.
Quickly, I will try to summarize, and I will follow up from where he left, the customer hiring services and the innovation. And this is really one of the innovation going on, not only in Nepal, in South Asia. Actually, India, around 20 years ago, a lot of innovation have occurred there, and also we have borrowed from different places there. So, and also in Nepal, especially Tarai side, there's a lot of innovation going on. I think similar to not less than in the UP, Bihar, this side adjacent border. A lot of things going on in Nepal, Tarai also, and it's good to present. So I will present from the socio-economic management perspective, which is different than the agriculture engineer you collect, but I think it's important, no, because agriculture mechanization is the multidisciplinary task, and different angle need to be understood. Sociological economics part is, I consider, is a critical part of that. Next. Yeah, this is just one, this is just, I'll take briefly, you know everything. Even rice in Nepal context, large farmer cannot have all the equipment warning. So you have, so either he has to rent the harvester or something. So in Southeast Asia context, small holding context, it's rental machine is the necessary. We know even large farmer, because we don't have a farmer with 1,000 bigha or 1,000 hectare type of thing. So the rental is basically part of the farming system. It's the same thing like airlines. We need to do the airline services. We need to have air travel, but does not need each one has to buy one plane. Similarly, the policy setting is still farmer need to have machine. We need to give power tiller to the farmer. There's a big policy problem. You need to give the machine to the people who can rent out. And that is missing there, because the rental peoples are lacking in the policy whole arena. Because no government recognize that. Even same thing in the India context also. So this is the problem in South Asia. Because I work in India also a lot, so that's why. So this is, I mentioned multidisciplinary. The agriculture mechanization, speed of scale takes place due to different enabling factor. So where there are different things and different local context. Many people summarize that, and actually it's localized. Even in Nepal, Tarai, I did survey. This is part of the moving from Kanchanpur to Zappa. Each place is a different location, so you need to, so that localized context is critical. I will not go detail, it's just for you to go through that, okay? So major type, this here I think I want to, this is it's a new thing. I have been working this for the last 10 years in India also. I work on different part of the India, Karnataka, and those issues, and Nepal also. I summarize, I think we have not discussed that in our custom hiring things, even with the PMAC and other government program. We have, within the custom hiring service center, 5 major type of custom hiring center. The typology that I say we can find in Nepal. One is a cooperative based, largely, which is funded by PMAC program, and also the provincial government have funded, okay? And the second category, NGO supported. There are picking a few NGO they have started, like the Jivika in the Morang side, and similarly needs in the western Nepal, they are doing. This is second category, because the modality operation, these things are differ, NGO, because they are more targeted to a certain group. Those, they are some priority than the different than the cooperative one. And I will not go detail of these things because of the time, but the paper, we have all the things. And agency operated, like FAO is working in Siraha, LAN, there are 2-3 operated, and also Rhythm earlier, ADB did Nepal, so there are large scale initiative there within that also. This is called agency, I categorize, which is modality, because it's the grants given equipment also, this is different one. And private enterprise led is coming. This is all, we have this service provider, the CISA project, this thing all mentioned that, but there are different subcategory with that. Because of time, I will not go, LSP is one, landlord type of system, this is a primitive already, and within that also corporate, like Buddha Air managing, it's a big corporation, it's all Jain, it's more than 10 crore, already they have invested. So this is another category. So you need to have understand which is custom hiring center, also the typology, each one has different problem, different context, so there is no one side solution there. And another is another interesting Nepal, our actually, the mechanization is speed up because of the combined harvester late. This is the fellow has a 1-2 harvester, and one guy I met who has a 4 harvester, and he has land only less than a bigha. That is in Punjab, in our Birganj Parsa side. I have 2-3 times met him, so interview intensively, and which is new actually that. So we need this type of guy. Actually, if there's 100 this type of people, we can train if the government or in other, even NGO train this type of people or prepare this type of 100 people in Nepal, you can cover whole land mechanization without any other supports, international support or anything, okay? So detail, I don't know. This is the things in the paper you can get. The paper is coming, so you will get all the things. I will not go detail one, but these are within the cooperative, you have a different category of the investment, recent innovation going on. Actually, but it has a rigid service also, but advanced technologies, this is the place. And there was, I think, I will link to the earlier previous DAS digitization. In my opinion, my experience little working in that area, actually cooperative is the venue that for your digitization, for innovation, because there is already collective action is gone there. If you go to without collective action, system fail, and that's why there was a missing. I didn't see CSC mentioned. Mechanization, those people who use machine, they use digital tool. If the farmer has not used machine, less likely to use other digital tool. There's a very, I think that's what field I found, but there's a weakness also here. It's a financial sustainability, management problem. I will not go detail because of time. The combined harvester, this is the interesting thing. This guy has a 4 harvester. And it has a workshop also, harvester. Very few people in Nepal managing the harvester workshop. And the guy is working for 20 years. He's one of the, I think, pioneer or a leading figure on combine harvester. And he covered from actually the Dhangadi up to the Jhapa tractor, the harvester, he moves in the season because of the climate variable, so you can give different crop. So detail, I will not go extend it. It's a low cost. Government has no cost. They will manage, and it's all he gets the loan from the bank. It's all risks and gain. He managed that. So detail, because of the time, I will not go. Yeah, it's a remark I will say. It's more than 800, 900 harvesters. More than 800 harvesters are there in Nepal. I think one of the point I want to mention. So everywhere in the mechanization, we talk about Chaklabandi. Oh, we need land policy. Study also talk about. I don't think the guy is managing, there's the 4 harvester. We don't need a Chaklabandi, the land policy, because it's very politically sensitive, and no government can do. In South Asia, same condition. Market will do that. So if the need there, if the demand is there, if the crop is there, you have other practice there, like the maize, the hybrid maize revolution going on in eastern Nepal. Everywhere they will cover. One people have started lease out, the reverse tendency going on. So market handle. If it work with the private sector, work with the market, provide incentive to all these players, the stakeholder, the LSP, the farmers, they will handle. So we don't need a big Chaklabandi, this thing, Chaklabandi is failure everywhere. In Nepal also, nowhere in the high practice it has been occurred, okay? So this is and this guy, some of the people I met, that they have recovered the harvested cost within 3-4 years. Even the cooperative, Sagun cooperative study, somebody mentioned it has covered the whole cost of the harvester within 4 years. The harvester is very profitable. Yeah, I think this is a new thing. I think I want to share from economists to you. These are the major problem of operating custom hiring services in Nepal. Okay, this is in the slide. I think slide later on you will go. The one problem is insurance of the driver, and then also the insurance of the driver, the major repair maintenance. So a lot of engineers were in the field. So getting a trained the mechanics is the real problem. So those repair maintenance, these issues, and the timely, the breakdown of the machine, the small parts not available, these are the major problem. That's what they mentioned. I basically compile information from what others say. Okay, the farmers and the operator. I asked the realtor who are operator of or manager of the customer hiring center. So these are the bottom. So thank you. Thank you very much.
It was such an impactful presentation. Thank you so much, Dr. Bhattarai. Without further delay, we will now proceed to the next presentation. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Bhim Shrestha, Director of NTIC. I humbly request Sir to conclude his presentation in 12 minutes.
Thank you very much. So this I can play from here? Oh, good. I thought I'll use this one. Okay, thank you very much. It's almost good morning is going to change to good afternoon very much this time. So yesterday I was here, and I happened to attend yesterday, and today I thought like a lot of youth, young people are here. So actually this morning when I sent my presentation, I prepared a little bit, not talking you too much about the technological things and all this and all. Rather, I will try to be a little bit how I can be useful for the youth, especially young ag engineers who are going to graduate or who recently graduated. And particularly, I'll be talking about some of the opportunities, some of the initiatives that we have taken at Kathmandu University, and particularly talking about Nepal Technology Innovation Center. Yes, I think Sukla sir, it's very difficult to speak after Sukla sir because he is one of the, the way he teaches and all, very powerful teaching. So I will try to be a little bit more brief and try to share some of the things that we have been doing. Okay, actually today is my presentation topic is climate smart agriculture and green fertilizer innovation initiative that we are doing. And I'll be talking
This is, jointly I prepare. Currently I'm leading as a director of Nepal Technology Innovation Center. And in my co-author, currently we have signed a memorandum of understanding with the King Mongkut Institute of Technology at Ag Engineering Department in Bangkok. We are working together, and with the EC mode. Recently, we signed an agreement with EC Mode, International Center for Mountain Developments, and we are running one of their program, Himalayan University Consortium, within the Nepal Technology Innovation Center. So that brings a kind of, our impact and working domains within the entire Hindu Kush regions. And needless to say, because there are two young people, Nitesh Yadav and Ujjwal Thapa. Nitesh is of course, I invited him to attend here. He is my master's student. He's doing his master's studies in this green fertilizer initiatives at Kathmandu University. To talk a little bit about a brief history of the Nepal Technology Innovation Center, let me briefly tell this was first groundbreaking ceremony took in the year 2027 at on January 22nd at premises where exactly it is being located. And it was approved by the government of Nepal through the cabinet decisions and the Ministry of Finance. That time, the Secretary of the Ministry of Finance and the Korean ambassador to Nepal, they signed an agreement to establish this center with the total fund of $10 million that we received. That was used in order to build the facility, capacity developments, and entire working. And what we do at Nepal Technology Innovation Center at Kathmandu University is that, this center, actually we have focused, because most of us, we are talking about ag engineering sectors, but when we talk deeper down into ag engineering sectors, we try to work on agriculture and rural development. That is one area. Two, we try to work in the health sector. When we say health, it's not a clinical kind of health or treating the patients and all. We try to work how to have an assured access to the clean drinking water, clean cooking environments and all, so that people have a kind of facilities they need not go to hospital. So that is a health sector that we try to work on. And third is about the energy sector that we work. And for that, we have 7 thematic working areas, like you can see here, like research and developments, testing and accreditations, smart health, school-based enterprises, startups, education trainings, and technology, database and marketing. So these are the things that we work at the Nepal Technology Innovation Center. And it was recently, last year I think, it was inaugurated by the President of Nepal, the Right Honorable Mr. Ramchandra Paudel, and he was there at the Nepal Technology Innovation Center. And we had a very clear mandate and vision to work in agriculture, energy, and health in order to bring the university youth to be engaged in the output that they bring to be linked with the industry and the economic forces of country. Having said that, because sometimes this has been established and inaugurated, where is the human resources? So one of the human resources that we recently acquired is through the Prime Minister's self-employment scheme. With this Prime Minister's self-employment schemes, now we are able to employ the gold medalists of any department. So be it in ag engineering department, or be it in any civil engineering, or mechanical, or electrical engineer. If you are a gold medalist, no matter which line you belong to, you can directly come and work at the center. Currently, there are 9 such researchers working. And these researchers have been assigned to someone working in a geomatics, some are working in an energy sector, some are working in a health sector. Having said that, this is the kind of a government is, sometimes we feel like a government has inaugurated and just handed over to university and not taking care of that. This Prime Minister's self-employment scheme is giving us an opportunity to work. So this could be good opportunity for ag engineers who are getting. I may not be able to give a lot of opportunity, but at least one. He can directly come, and without any kind of further inquiries, they can directly join Nepal Technology Innovation Center as a researcher. Okay, as I said before, I have to be a little bit because since it is an international forum, so I have to tell a little bit about where Nepal is located geologically, geographically. Nepal is a very much good position, I can say. It is at the central part of Asia. We cater the need for India as well as for China. And China and India, when we see this entire global map of Nepal, if you see, we are in the almost at the central level of Hindu Kush Himalayan regions. Having said that, Hindu Kush Himalayan regions, this is a range that ranges from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, China, and all the way till down to the northern part of China, northern part of Thailand or in Myanmar, southern part of Myanmar and northern part of Thailand. So this is the entire Hindu Kush Himalayan regions, and 1.3 billion people per percent, and a lot of water resources, and a water tower is there. So as of now, currently we are hosting the entire 107 University Hindu Kush Himalayan Regions Consortium secretariat at Nepal Technology Innovation Center. Having said that, whatever we do, some sort of innovations, we do have an access for this entire Hindu Kush Himalayan regions. And this is about Nepal. Oops. I have to speak a little bit because agriculture in Nepal, you know, I think most of you know about this. So the agriculture contributes about 24.1% of GDP in Nepalese economy, and self-reliance is declining because, you know, a lot of human migrations and all these things, and climate change has been one of the major major aspect that is declining for us, rather for exporting agriculture commodity to importing agriculture commodity country it has become. So as of now, I can say, we used to tell, when I was studying ag engineering that time, you know, we used to say, okay, mechanization, productivity, enhancement of productivity, the production per unit land could feed the increasing population of the people, but that is not sufficient. Now, we need to have innovations. Innovations, it's, as a matter of fact, it doesn't happen very easily, but we need to create an ambience and atmosphere where students will be allowed to have some sort of creative ideas and innovations. So this is where we try to work on. And talking about, because this was a slide, actually, this is as a matter of fact, I was talking about Nepal Technology Innovation Center also. They not only the employment for the students, but we also provide some sort of seed fundings for the researchers. Young researchers we are providing. I have written their website, ntic@ku.edu.np. If you have time, your internet is there, so you may click onto that. We provide a funding for about 5 lakh rupees for minimum, and up to 50 lakh rupees depending upon a different kind of their ideas they bring. And if you see, there are about 16 startups. If you see ntic.ku.edu.np, we provided about 16 startups kind of things. They are receiving about 5 lakhs rupees. And those who have R&D possibilities, we are providing up to 50 lakhs rupees so that they can have some sort of ideas done. And some of those ideas who could get some sort of a potential source of funding and collaboration with other institutions, we bring them into a Masters by Research or some other this thing. So one of the areas, one of the work that we have funded is on climate smart agriculture using these green fertilizers. So these sectors, today I'm doing one of the presentation of one of students who is working on that. Oops, I have to be a little faster. Okay, this is a climate. During the harvesting, during the planting, the climate change is causing the enormous damages and enormous problems. You can see, and effect of climate change in Nepal is severe. As a matter of fact, I can say that climate change, we are not a contributor of a greenhouse gas. I was showing that greenhouse gas emissions after 2025 to 2050 is going to pick up like anything. So we are not a producer of a greenhouse gas, but we are the affected people. So this is where a lot of inundations, disasters are happening. And recently, for this, to address the climate smart or climate change, we wanted to have a green ammonia to be produced. So for that, we have an agreement with EC Mode. With this EC Mode, what we are trying to do is 3 sectors. One is adaptation, technology developments, and starting new technology innovations. Adaptation of the technology that has been developed elsewhere, trying to create new technologies, and adaptation of those technologies to be done. So recently we have an agreement with Mewang. He looks after the energy sector at EC Mode, and at Kathmandu University we signed, and this is a green area initiative that we are working on. on top of that, this is a good, just day before yesterday, this was an agreement that we signed. And His Excellency, the ambassador from Korea, made a visit to Nepal Technology Innovation Center. And this is how we are trying to work. We can see this is NTIC is here. This is a bit, Ministry of Irrigation, Energy. The Korean government is giving funding to the GPLOS, and GPLOS is working with NTIC, and NTIC is work on several new companies, and these new companies it can be you, it can be we, it can be whosoever it is. It's about a $5 million has been approved for this one, and we are working on that. And on the top of that, we have recently signed MOU with GPLOS. GPLOS is a company that is based in Korea. Oops. Okay, I will be fast a little bit. This is a part of a master's thesis that person is working, and Mr. Yadav is working on this. This is an energy mix scenario that we are in current scenario in Nepal. Still, the biomass is one of the major energies. However, if you see the number of the hydropowers that is being developed in Nepal, it is increasing. It is by year, you can say 2050, we have a surplus, lot of surplus amount of energy that is available. And this surplus energy, when we say green urea means it is not like a green, it is, we will make a use of green hydrogens. This hydropowers, the spill of energy, the unutilized energy of hydropowers, most of our rivers are runoff type of rivers, and these runoff rivers producing the electricities can be used for electrolysis. And these electrolyzed hydrogens can be used for, because what is urea? Urea is a nitrogen combined with a hydrogen gets ammonia. Ammonia gets combined with a carbon dioxide and produces urea. So this is a formula that we are doing. It looks very simple in chemistry, but to happen, the carbon CO2 to be captured, to make a pure hydrogen and pure nitrogen to be combined to form ammonia, and to make this ammonia combined with a captured CO2, it is a long process. It requires a lot of investment. So this is a green ammonia and a green urea production in Nepal. This is how we are trying to, as I just said, because of the time shortage, you can have a look on this one, because hydropower potentials can be used for producing the hydropower can be used for the hydrogen production, that's all. And as of now, we are having this GPLOS that we are trying to do this electrolysis process, because storage of hydrogens and its handling to produce hydrogen combining with nitrogens creates a lot of challenges and has to be stored about, probably most of you are engineers, so you know it, about storing the hydrogen at 700 plus bar. Because normally atmosphere is a 1 bar, a 700 bar storage is too dangerous for it to happen. So we have to create, we are working with the Korean companies, and they will make it happen there. And part of the green ammonia, green hydrogen, green urea that we bring will be tested here in Nepalese conditions. So this is how the chemistry, happens. So this is a very, looks like a simple, that nitrogen combining with hydrogen, but there's an enormous green hydrogen supply chain system that we have to work on, and finally we produce. This is a lot of track for hydrogen to be used, and Kathmandu University has a pioneer in making use of hydrogen. So this is one track that we use for producing ammonia or ammonia, the urea. So that is a process that we have already signed with the GPLOS, and probably because of the election only, we are not able to go, but once this election is over, after that, our team will go to Korea and we'll have this plant installed. So I will not, because this is nitrogen, hydrogen combinations and all these things, the way we produce. This is a CSA, Climate Smart Agriculture Initiative, that we have been doing. And finally, we can say that Isimots has been on board with us to develop this Climate Smart Agriculture initiatives that we have been working on. And green fertilizer is one of the aspects that we have been working on. And especially, the young ag engineers, please feel free to contact me or contact our organizers, so that we can be a team worker again. And whatever the companies that are coming out of that, rather than a job creator, job seeker, we have to be the way see job creator. This is one of the way, lot of enormous amount of hydropower is being generated, and that can be used for green urea productions. And you can be one of the startup owners. And for the startup also, we provide the supports. So please be the change maker and be this one PPP, private public partnership will work, and we think that this can bring about the dire need of the urea that is hampering our agriculture development we could be the solutions makers to address the fertilizers needs of this country. With this word, I really thank and appreciate a lot of notes have come, so I don't know how to move so fast. Anyway, I did these slides I have given it to NSAE Secretary. Please feel free and make sure that a lot of, especially I request you to go to our website, ntic.ku.edu.np, where there are several announcements and opportunities that are available. Please make sure that your participation, your engagement will bring the good changes that will be clean from the environment pollutions. And we are not only the producers of ammonia or urea, but at the same time, the net zero policies of the entire world, we can be one of the, with this initiative, we can achieve that one. With this, thank you very much, NSAE. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Professor, thank you so much for your time and contribution. Now, we would like to proceed to our technical presentation session. I request all speakers to please be mindful of 8-minute time limit as we are already ahead of our schedule. So for the first technical presentation, I would like to invite Engineer Baburam Paudel sir, Manager of Nepal Telecom. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Already she has told about the limitation of the timing, so I will directly move into the presentation. So the topic is smart farming in Nepal, technologies, practices, and future boosters. So I will not be discussing more into what is smart farming, but rather the technology, ICT, and telecommunication, how it can help empower smart agriculture in Nepal. So what initiative we have seen in Nepal and what technologies are there. Maybe in the future, what technology will be coming in near future. Okay, before moving into the presentation, I will show you some of the foundation of digital landscape in Nepal. Since smart agriculture is only achievable if we have a good technology, ICT, and telecommunication technologies in hand. So let's see some status of telecommunication and ICT industry. So the 1/4 of the GDP, agriculture is a very important sector in Nepal. Most of the people have dependent on agriculture. So there are some challenges, threats, climate adversities, pest, disease, soil degradation, and so many things you know better than me. But still, so is there any possibilities how we can protect our farmers and increase productivity at the same time? So yes, that is the smart agriculture. So before moving into that, let's see a few snapshots of Nepal Digital Foundation, some data. So we have already reached the penetration of mobile, already reached to 100%, more than 100% in fact. And still the mobile broadband penetration is already 92%. But the digital literacy stands only at approximately 30%, which is very short. That means the technology is moving into the corners of the country, but still the literacy, there is some challenge and we have to work into that sector. So similarly, the population penetration of the broadband services, the 4G technology, which is already an enabler for smart farming, has reached to around 90%. And similarly, the wireline broadband is already more than 50%. So that is some snapshots.
Based on these NTA statistics, we see Nepal Telecom is incumbent government operator. We are having 54% market share on the voice and more than 50% on the data market share. So we are making the foundation for Digital Nepal initiative of Nepal government of Nepal. So we have nearly 22 million subscriber base, and the 4G LTE service is already there in 749 local level out of 753. And our fiber backbone is already more than 10,000 kilometers across the country, reaching to the very upper Himalayas, maybe to the plains and across the Tarai, right? So approximately we have 400K wireline broadband subscriber, that means household, and nearly 4,500 base stations across the country. All with this all infrastructure, we are covering the country with ICT and telecommunication technology, from very east to the western part of the country, reaching from Himalayas to Tarai, right? So the signal is reaching up to the villages, but now we must take the signal meaningful, right? So not just that the mobile technology or the ICT will not help for smart farming. There is some gap, maybe we will discuss later. So the coverage is already here. You see some spores on the upper Himalayas. We are working on that. The fiber is already reaching, except Humla. We are working closely for the broadband. Maybe in the coming fiscal year, we will reach by underground or ADSS or OPGW. So this is some key facts, figures, and statistics. I see we discussed already that the subscription label tele-density is already more than 100%. And the internet access is around 90%, but it's still the digital literacy and skill gap. There is a gap in the digital literacy, relatively very low, 31%. But internet usage, just internet usage, is higher than several neighboring countries in South Asia. Maybe that could be Facebook, TikTok, or Viber, I don't know. That needs a very extensive survey in the household, right? So digital divide, you see the is very poor in the rural area. So it's still already the speakers talked about digital divide already. So I'll not go into this. So key takeaways would be strong infrastructure, uneven inclusion, subscription versus meaningful participation. And our focus must shift from just coverage to capacity building. So digital infrastructure is strong, but we cannot ignore the digital skill gap that we have to take care. So there are some initiatives from the government. I will not, because I have already received the time card, so I will slow it down. The government has a digital Nepal framework. It's an initiative from the government since 2076. So there are some areas, focus areas that particularly related to the smart agriculture. So you can see the precision agriculture, smart irrigation, digital farmer registration and subsidies, televet and knowledge system, market access, e-traceability and quality control, agri-information management system. All these are the initiative made by the government through the digital DNF 2.0. So this focus area has their own detailed programs. So you can check that document for the details. So with this foundation, I will briefly talk about the smart agriculture. So how do we protect our farmers and increase productivity at the same time? So there are some, maybe the traditional, the smart agriculture means the agriculture based on data, right? So how do we collect data? Maybe there will be some sensors, IoT application devices that we already discussed. So there will be soil data, water data, climate data, crop data, maybe more data, you know better, right? So with those chunk of data, we will have a very good information for the decision making. So that is the smart agriculture. The automated process will be there, something like that. So ultimately, that will reduce cost and increase yields. So that in terms of technology, key tools and technology, you see the IoT sensors and SMS system for soil, weather, irrigation, data collection. And similarly, the drones and satellites for crop mapping, crop health, and yield estimation. Mobile apps, we already talked in the morning session that there are some digital advisory services, market prices, marketplaces to help farmers to reach into the market. So maybe tracking not just the farmers, maybe we have seen some tracking of the fruits and fruits, right? If a person, we can use the QR codes, maybe I have seen some use cases in Singapore that if a farmer produces one apple, so the farmer knows which person you consume that particular apple, right? So we can think about that maybe in the near future. These solutions are not theoretical. They are already producing results. So I have found some papers where they have digital village initiatives, UNDP projects in Jumla, which is very interesting. They use the IoT, solar power IoT sensors, and those sensors, based on those sensors, the farming has been more improved, and the apples grew better and better colors, selling for nearly twice the price compared to the traditional yields. So there are so many use cases you can find related to the smart farming or smart agriculture in Nepal also. There are platforms like GeoKids, digital platforms, digital village initiatives from the FAO. Similarly, Smart Kids app is there to encourage farmers to lower production costs. So similarly, financial seed platforms and federal Kisan portals. So ICT, telecom role in productivity. So what is the role of ICT and telecom? So we are just an enabler for smart farming. We are not the application developers, right? So we will be helping for enterprises or entrepreneurs to connect from the core system to the last mile users. So we are already reaching to different places. So the farmer sensors, mobile network, cloud servers, with that technology will help farmers market and knowledge-based society and digital for the digital payments, online marketplace, IoT sensors, something like that. After that, one or two slides, just 2 slides. The future boosters, we have heard about the 5G technology in Nepal. We are currently testing it, but it's still not in the commercial operation. Maybe soon in coming fiscal year, we'll have a small scale deployment maybe in some cities, but still 4G is already there with coverage from across the country. So we will be helping this agriculture industry with this coming technology as well. So these are some of the opportunities that 5G will bring. After that, yes, telecom company case studies. I have seen some South Korean case studies. You see the SK Telecom, LG U+, KT Smarts, they are working in the smart agriculture, precision agriculture sector. And the impact is very attractive. You see that water saving is 15 to 20%, feed cost reduction is around 20%, and mortality, fish mortality reduction is around 20 to 40%. These are some case studies. You can also check maybe from my presentation. So the challenges, we see that there is low digital literacy, rural affordability, connectivity gaps in mountains. We have to reach there, and the data silos. That means everybody has data, but there is no integrated data platforms from the government. So that we have to also work on that for the integrated government portals or data centers to enable the entrepreneurs or enterprises working in the agriculture sector. So recommendation would be 4G, 5G expansion into agri-zone, public-private partnership. Some professors already discussed about that. National integrated data platforms, focus on digital skill gap and affordability that I have seen, but maybe there could be more areas where we can give a recommendation, right? So technology alone is not enough. People must be empowered to use it. So high impact use cases, telecom can champion. I will not discuss about it. The technologies are there. Very interesting, the ITU, this is an UN specialized agency that has recognized smart agriculture, and they have definitions of every sector: smart greenhouse, smart open field, smart hydroponics, smart livestock van, and smart agriculture data services. So ITU has also recognized this smart agriculture initiative and have some specification about that. You can check some documents if you want to know more about it. So lastly, government, telecom operators, researchers, and farmers together can combine efforts to build an agriculture sector that is productive, resilient, inclusive, and climate smart. And thank you. And lastly, I have one message to convey to you. Nepal Telecom is happy to work with NSAE for modernizing the agriculture sector. So thank you very much.
It was a data-driven and informative presentation. Thank you so much, sir. Now let me welcome President of Agri Nepal, Mrs. Sunita Nemafuki, over the stage. And this is also a second last presentation before lunch. Thank you.
Namaste, good afternoon everyone. I'm Sunita Nemafuki. Many of know me as a NAMIA Vice President. Today I came here as my own company, and as well as I'm presenting this paper as a researcher also, as I'm a PhD scholar in Tribhuvan University, and I'm doing my PhD in here. So today, from early morning, whatever I'm learning, yesterday I flew from the circuit by talking with my peoples about this technology and what I am doing. And this is all about what I spent my 1 decade in agriculture sector, though I'm not an agricultural student. Passionately. So this is my model also. I'm trying to build a last mile service, not for other. It's for my farmer, it's for my business. And it's not so much sponsored by anyone. It is my and our one homegrown technology and system, what we are doing practice. And by doing practice, we are learning and we are improving it. So what I face, what I saw is that, yes, we are working for a decade for about the data. Try to buy something, no. Try to sell something, no. Whatever we read in data and everything, we said, oh my God, it's all about the talking. And going to field, spending more than 300 days in a year, 65 days we used to in Kathmandu and other place, and go to all over the Nepal, we found that we really need something, the channel, what we need. So what is lagging, I found, and then we started this, is apps. I'm the one who imagined app in 2014, 15, 16, but all lagging. I tried with the international competition, everything, but apps only, very low adaptation, no validation, trust defeats. Only the sum of, from tomorrow, maybe the LinkedIn post will be all updates. Oh, there's a lot of things happen. If your LinkedIn post, see, this is app is there and everything. If they feel it's so hard, the adoption is very less. So, myself, I designed the 3 research questions. The one innovation, what I am doing, as a scholar, I started to see these things. So I'm here today to present these things. So my model is the app equal to Krisidut model. The AgriNepal as the digital backbone, and Krisidut is a trusted last mile service provider. I mentioned the name is that I want to give a special recognition to the people who are in agriculture as an ambassador, not other persons. As we know, the ambassador is a very prestigious job. Simply the things. That's person who have a first input and output linkage, farm profiling, data validation, advisory, and last mile services, whatever farmers need. So trust is main thing, what we want to build. So that entrepreneur like me, who invest a lot of money by getting a 20% interest you shown in the custom hiring centers, 20% interest, taking the loan, giving the risks to my generation to generation, we can get some money. So this is the model. This is the what model we're developing. There's a Ramesh Chaudhary, the Krisidut, who is from Kanchanpur and related with the Mahila Vikas Month. They are the Mukta Kamaiya who don't have a home and everything. They are producing the turmeric. And the person, I put the all data of the all things with the farmers. There's 100 farmers, 200 farmers, 300 farmers to the app. And that information goes to the all stakeholder, then the necessary action happen. So this is the platform plus human support. We'll show early morning, that's the human-centric design, WhatsApp and everything. You will find this thing in our app. So this is very simple app, but this is the things equal to we want to bring the economic and entrepreneurial opportunity unlock. We want to open that's all unlock opportunity. So I'm not going to talk about what is our app and platform, but I'm going to talk about what we are going to get from this. The person, how the climate responsive. Many of know one of our product of R&D Kisan Credit Card. I just saw how the work is going on from early morning from 9:30 to here. It's more than 50 transactions already happened, and Madhusudan, I saw the all transactions. Thank you, ID is there. They support the farmers, that Kisan Credit Card is happening. The person is the agriculture technician that might have a shop and everything. The card is here, Kisan Credit Card is here with all digital data and everything. Mobile they have, app they have, and everything. That's really timely advice they can give. It's raining happen, okay, it's raining happen, you can do like this, and inputs you will available here. Better input planning, reduce waste and risks, data coordination equal to climate resilience. As a small country, as a small entrepreneur, I can talk about a resilience. I can't talk about the big, big things. So next, inclusion and gender. When I started study, it might be I already mentioned this is my one product, so I might be some progressively other things. But again, it is very simple. And a strong participant of the smallholder. This is the yesterday photo. That's woman. She have a card also from Toolkit, and she have that app also. Highly engagement, very easily. There's a WhatsApp button, they can talk. Asma is here. Asma, can you? Yes. Our agriculture engineer, whenever the farmers need any machinery, she will reply from here. Always okay talk, and everything they can see in the app. There's more than 10,000 machinery seed and everything is in our app. So local service model, reduce that's SS barriers. The methodology of this study is that one is app-generated database, another field implementation records, and third is stakeholder action and interactions. So I just see the one clip here. That's Krisidut. That is the back part of the Krisidut. There's now just like I couldn't see the next number, it's also small. This 402 is a male Krisidut, he's here. So this is the data, and who are they? There's a related all data, so that if the all machinery and everybody, do you want to sell anything? Do you want to reach a last mile service to the farmers? They can contact them and they can sell. Same as I need an output product, we can contact to Krisidut with the DATS data. Second, The product-wise also you can get a data in back. Okay, this product, this has happened. Just like you can see the person also. That's the data. I'm sorry, that's the data secretary didn't mention. Her income is here. How she put? There's a one in our app. There's a one karobar. Then they talk that income and expenses, and that's where the back part come. And we can say to the bank, please give a loan as she have a that's income or he have a that's income. So SS2 finance will reachable for them. So the conclusion is, as I'm an entrepreneur, I save always. So I save a 1 minute. The conclusion is last mile digital infrastructure and essential human plus digital platform is a very good going on. Still maybe next 5 years, I can say more because I believe that always it's take a decade to prove everything and came with a lot of results. So digital agriculture succeeds when technology serves people, not other way around. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, the last but not least, I would like to invite on stage intern ID Nepal and my dear friend, Engineer Biswas Dukana. This is also the last presentation of this session.
Thank you, Unica. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected chair, distinguished guests, and the dear fellow researchers and my friends who are presented here for the international conference on climate smart agriculture and agricultural engineering. Today, I'm honored to present my research entitled Crop Type Classification and Using Satellite Imagery and Accuracy Assessment of Machine Learning Models. Firstly, I would like to thank ID Nepal and NSAE for stepping up and organizing such a huge event which was most needed in the field of agriculture and research. So straightforward, I would like to move to my topics. So we have been talking about the problems and the challenges we are facing in the field of agriculture. So we all know that the background of agriculture, that almost 1/3 of the national GDP is contributed by agriculture sector, but we are still lagging in terms of data and policy. When it comes to the research, we always goes to the websites and digging to the websites, research papers, but we could not find the exact data that we want. So we try to address these challenges. Still our agricultural sector morely relies on traditional methods of field survey and data collection, which is more time consuming and tedious methods. So still this data lacks the reliability and accuracy. So you can see these maps. This is the crop type inventory map of New York City, USA. So they have their proper crop type inventory, and they have the data which crop is being grown in which area. So have you seen this type of crop maps in Nepal? Obviously no. So which is most needed in Nepal also. So simply we try to collect the data from satellites and do a ground truth validation and prepare a crop type inventory map for agricultural monitoring, crop yield estimation, and also for the post-disaster assessment and for policy and research development works. So we have come with especially 3 objectives. First, to study about the variation of different radar and spectral bands over the different croplands, and to assess the accuracy assessment of different machine learning models, and to prepare a crop type inventory map of a specific study area. So we have used the free satellite data, and we have combined the SAR and optical data, and using the machine learning models and doing the temporal analysis. And we have also done the ground truth validation, and we have prepared a visual outputs of and general interactive dashboards of crop type map. So our research mainly runs in the 3 phases, that is data collection, satellite imagery selection, pre and post processing of satellite data, and map integration. So this is the normal methodology chart of our research. So I would like to move forward. So this is our study area, which is in area municipality of Sunsari districts. We have collected 173 field samples using an open source mobile application that is SW Maps. Each field larger than 20 by 20 meters was recorded as a polygon, along with the attributes such as crop type and crop stage was recorded. This data serves as a reliable data for training and validation of our model. So we have used Sentinel-1, which gives us the data of polarization, that is radar bands, and we have extracted the features, that is BB polarization, VH polarization, and ratio of these features to train our model. And second, we have also used Sentinel-2, which gives us the insights of NDVI, NDWI, and EVI, such kind of features that we could use for for training our models. We have used 22 images from Sentinel-1, and we have pre-processed this data. And we have also used 14 cloud-free Sentinel-2 images. We have processed gigabytes of data in a freely open source platform, that is Google Earth Engine. And we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have extracted the features like VB and BH polarization from Sentinel-1. And here lies our most important part of our study. Instead of using single data images, we use the monthly composite of the data, that how the different crops will interact with the different radiations from the satellite images. So we have created a composite of BB by BH bands. So this data will helps to train our model. So we have used the NDVI and NDWI and EVI from the Sentinel-2. So this graph shows how the different crops interact with the different plants, and this will ultimately give us the reliable model for the data. So we have used random forest, which enables, which shows that the features from the Sentinel-2 has the higher feature importance, but when using the CART models, it shows that the Sentinel-1 feature shows the higher importance. So we combined those Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2 images for the crop classification. So we got overall accuracy of 76.32% from random forest model and 76.62% of accuracy from CART model. So we got a significantly lower accuracy using support vector machines. So here come our another result part. So this is the crop type map of the municipality. So we have collected the data of banana, maize, wheat, and the on-crop lamp of the study area. So we trained the models and we got the outputs like this, and we integrated these maps with the land use land cover maps to prepare the final land use land cover map with the crop types. So this is our interactive dashboards. So whenever we input our region of interest, so we got the statistics of overall crop. That is, we can see the pie charts of areas that covers with the different crop types. So this is the crop statistics that we found from our models. So as a conclusion, we can say that the integration of Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2 imagery provides a comprehensive features for the crop type representation, and Google Earth Engine enables a large data processing for model training, and random forest and CART shows a significantly higher accuracy. So we can create a crop type inventory map. We have created a crop type inventory map of 61 square kilometer of the croplands. So our recommendation from the research is that we can expand the temporal analysis to create a season-wise crop type maps of the different throughout the region of the Nepal. And also we can integrate it with the deep learning models to create a more reliable and accurate models. And we can also use the unmanned aerial vehicles like drone to collect the data, so that we could use for a larger area of the region. So here are the references that we use, and thank you so much for your time. Any questions will be heartily welcomed.
Thank you, Biswas, for concluding your presentation on the allocated time. Thank you to all our speakers for those insightful presentation. We now have 15 minutes dedicated to discussion and question and answer. Please wait for the microphone and kindly state the person whom you want to ask. The floor is all open. Any questions, please?
Hello, I am Sanjay Bimali and my question is for both the professor. In the present context of declining agriculture engineering student and only 9 students enroll in the latest fiscal year, what could be the innovation in agriculture engineering education in Nepal, and with a motto to support the mechanization and modernization in agriculture sector of Nepal, and who would be the relevant stakeholder for them? I also want to add the question to Mr. Beam sir about the price of green hydrogen. Is it really 0.1 to 0.5 to $1? And next question goes to Mr. Madhusudan sir. You has mentioned the type of custom hiring center, and I get a bit confused about the type. On what base do you classify them? On the basis of support, management, or mission itself? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I will take another 2 questions, then I will request presenters to respond to those questions. So,
Yeah.
sir, please.
Yeah. Regarding custom hiring center, whatever we try, 80% of the farmers cannot buy equipments. So, because only 20% can buy, and custom hiring centers try to give service, farmers don't have money to buy it. So one option is to give subsidy. The government gives subsidy on service based to the farmer. So custom hiring centers are guaranteed about their business they will get. They can maintain the services. Number 2, in the same custom hiring, you can utilize lend-a-rent model, which means people who have already equipments, the custom hiring center can ask them to lend it and they will rent the machine. So no need to buy equipment. These are 2 concepts evolving even in India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insight. Yes, I can also see that customer hiring center, one of the very good business model is the lender-led model. Yeah, thank you.
My
Yes,
question is to Mr. Dr. Madhusudan Bhattrai. Actually, I just wonder about, he said that Chaklabandi is not needed. Land consolidation in Nepal, we have got sort of land distribution after every 1 generation. So land plots are going to be so smaller, then how can you see, if plots are so small divided, then how can we grow crop? How can agriculture be more attractive? This is a simple thing. In Tibet, I have heard read in some paper, in Tibet area, they just not to let the plant fragmented to very small size, there is a, what do you call, polygamy. I mean, one wife is, one woman is married to many people, right? So many brothers, so that the land doesn't get distributed. Similarly, in other country, I'm somewhere, I don't know, I forgot now, the land property just goes to the elder son, and the other son, they don't get. Yeah, something like that. So on what basis he said Chaklabandi is not needed? On my advice, in Jhapa, Maharani Jhoda, the few farmers have pulled the land, and they have 0 consultation. I have written one paper, and it was in 2050. What is that year? 50 सालमा लेखाएको थिएँ मैले एउटा पत्रिकामा, के न के त गर्नै पर्छ. Otherwise, how the machinery can be used? Land being fragmented of 1 ropani or 1 katta or something like that. What can we do?
Yes, thank you.
On what basis? Yes, I just
Thank
want
you,
to
sir, for your questions. May I request Madhusudan sir first, and then Bhim sir to respond these questions.
Thank you for the good question. Thank you for this. Yeah, type of the customer, as I mentioned, my presentation was based on the management, economics, who operate that. It's for management side, not from the machine side. It was the managing side of that, how, so because there's a typology is not clear how to do, so because the management aspect affect the machine performance. So that's why like cooperative base or like individual base, and the harvester is a peculiar one because it's the one harvester go, so it has a different than the other type of customer, so it becomes a harvester based custom hiring center. So this is the way the model is done. So it is different than the engineering perspective, it's more management who operate that. Second question is good, that the farmers not money is a good question. So that cooperative, because of the time, I could not lay down all, there's a kind of detailed thing there, because 7 minutes. One of the reasons why in Nepal cooperative base is popular is because of the their exactly issues. Because cooperative are usually what you see, it is because these cooperatives are lending and this type of farmers, it's basically the saving and type of cooperative, okay? So they do that type, they like whatever like 10, 15,000 that the farmers accumulate in, so they don't pay. They actually cut after that, they deposit the crop also. So they do that business also. It gives the business model, other type of things. And usually this type of, even Nepal also, those LSP, the individual service provider, they also they become aggregator also later on. Those who have a machine, the harvester people, usually they are aggregator also, because people have to sell these things, so they collect the grain also. So that's why it is the nature of the getting in the market more agri-business oriented aggregator. Also successful, some of the private sector, I saw in the Bardivas, they like agriculture graduate, 2-3 people, they set up a company and they started machine customizing, but later on they become input seller and aggregator also. So it is a kind of value chain, they move gradually. This is a very dynamic, you know, people who is doing one business, they will not stay at that place longer. After 3-4 years, they see the opportunity other, so they may do the higher value chain. That's natural business entrepreneur perspective, which we mentioned. India also same thing, pattern is basically evolving. It's a good question, thank you for that. And other, you mentioned about Chaklavan, this is a good question, you raised that. I was thinking somebody will raise certainly. This is, I think, I talked to the farmer field, even in Southeast India places also, I have checked that in Haryana, Punjab. We need to change our mindset, especially in Nepal, is the very deep-rooted perception there. We need a Chaklavandi. Chaklavandi is politically, where in done, one is in Jhapa. And I went to that place, I asked the people who moved there, I say, you know, how much spent there? How many donors they have spent? How much billion of rupees have spent? And where is the scale up of that? That Maharani Jora has not been scale up because of the political some reason they have done one place fine. But how much money you have spent for bigger, you spend more than crore. But it is only in that place. So that way it is not scalable. And one of the reasons you go to the court in Nepal, 98% of the cases are there land related. And between two brothers and one brick, 1 foot of land is this and that, and there is a fighting case are there, okay? 90% case are there. In that case, we agriculturists, we set up our mind that we need to have a mess of other whole village land, and then only mechanization. No, in field now, there's a barren land in Nepal, no people there. If you have a technology, if profitable demand is there, the value chain is there, people, there is plenty of land to grow. So in Nepal, we have become a reverse tenancy. And even in Madhya Pradesh, even in case, there's a reverse tenancy case. I have studied in Madhya Pradesh village. You know, I did work in Gujarat, in Punjab. Punjab, the land is now increasing per farm rate. Earlier, in 20 years ago, fine, it was declined that way. Now, per farmer operated land is increasing. But people are in Canada, and they are basically leasing out, and he knows the better. So in Haryana, Punjab, they do like, you know, the seasonal based contract. Wheat, 30,000 per hectare. Similarly, rice also 25,000 per hectare. Similarly, here also, if you go to the eastern part
Request you to
Nepal,
be brief, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
So that's why I think this is the old mindset. We need to have the Chakrabandi land policy. Politically, it's very sensitive. Government cannot do. If you wait for mechanization, that, okay, government need to have a agriculture land pooling policy, and then we bring a machine, we'll be staying on the chair that way. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Now I request
Thank you.
sir to respond to the question.
Yeah.
And in the interest of the time, we are not taking additional questions.
Thank
we
you.
apologize for that because we are already delayed by 45 minutes. But we will have 1 hour of lunch, and then during that lunch time, we can discuss about the questions and the queries.
Thank you. Thank you. I will be very precise. You know, Patraiji has been very elaborative. I will be very precise. I received only 2 questions. One is a very real painful situations at the Durand when he came to know that only 9 students are getting admissions for undergrad level. So this is really painstaking. And one of the major things, you know, ag engineering, not only in Nepal, all over the world, it is the same scenario, same story. Not only here. If you go to United States, go to Canada, go to Europe, everywhere the ag engineers are, as of domain, the working domain are now, no, they are getting saturated, they are getting shrinkage, and the new areas are merging up. Okay, for instance, the area today we are talking like a climate smart agriculture. Nobody could claim that climate smart agriculture as their own particular domains. So we and agriculture engineers have to take these domains as our own area. Like a green hydrogens. I never studied my undergrad the green hydrogens. To be very frank and very honest, I am learning every day by using so many informations, and I am now trying to lead these projects to develop the urea by using green hydrogens. Okay, that's new areas has to be developed, and I really appreciate NSAE for bringing not only agriculture engineering conference, but tagging it with the climate smart agriculture as an initiative. And this climate smart agriculture can be one of the major domain for ag engineers to come. And having said that, I truly believe, this agriculture engineering students intakes and their popularity will increase. To be very frank, in Europe or in the US, where the university, I said Michigan State University, the name they changed. They no more call ag engineer. They call biosystem engineering. Now I am a faculty in one of the university in University of Washington in Seattle. I am a faculty for bioengineering departments. Okay, so the name has changed. But even if we only simply change the name, it will not solve. We have to increase our working domain. The ag engineer has to be. Yesterday, as a Professor Indramani has said, agri-engineers should be well versed in biology. We have to knowing about, we are not, those who are working in irrigation, I can very blunt and very straight. Those who are working in irrigation, they should be perfect in water management, water requirement or crop water requirement. This is our major domains that we must focus, and we should not leave that area. Other will take, and we will not be able to do it. So that part, water management part, that part we should not leave in irrigation. In mechanization, in agriculture sector, mechanization we should not leave. Okay? And beyond that, then we should capture some areas like green hydrogens, climate smart, and all these things we have to capture. That's my suggestions. I really believe. And second, what about hydrogen green fertilizers cost? This is a just estimated cost so far, and the cost is very much dependent upon how much size that you are bringing. Because as of now, I'm just going to do about 500 kilogram per day. But that doesn't fulfill the demand. That 500 kilogram per day is just an initial stage that we are trying to do, and that cost we are showing is a minimum. However, because this funding, the government of Korea is providing only $5 million for that, and we will have set one plant here. So eventually, if we have a larger, because, working in fertilizer also not easy. It is not only the solution. Last 40 years, JICA has established this, IBN has also done extensive study on the fertilizer. And there are a lot of hurdles and challenges to produce fertilizer within this country. It is not only me who tried.
Thank you,
yes.
sir. Thank you.
So there I stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your response. You can later connect to Bhim sir to understand about the fertilizer in detail. So as a session chair of this session, I am requested to summarize this, and I can see that we all are actually looking very much forward to having lunch. We all are very tired because it was a very, very long session. So I'll be very brief, and I'll try to summarize everything in 2 to 3 minutes. The name of the morning session, now it's already afternoon, so we can imagine how long the session was. The name of the session was Digital Advisory Services and Latest Technological Innovations in Agriculture. We had altogether 11 very interesting and meaningful presentations in the morning. The presentations were made by Bobbi Gray, Alizee, director from LTI Consulting, Bristi Z, PhD scholar from Kathmandu University, Rabindra Kumar Karki, country coordinator from IDE, and Alizee, director from Farm Batter App. So all these 5 presentations were focused on digital agriculture advisory services from AgriPath Project, which is more research-oriented action research project focusing on what kind of business model help farmers to access diverse kind of agri-advisory services in a very practical manner. Then we had presentations from Asutosh Sukla sir about reimagining innovations and technologies in agriculture. We had presentation from Madhusudan Bhattrai sir about the custom hiring centers. We had presentation from Bhim Shrestha sir from Kathmandu University about the climate smart agriculture and green fertilizer initiatives. We also had presentation from engineer Baburam Paudel from Nepal Telecom on smart farming in Nepal. Then we had the very last but not the least presentations, one from our one Sunita Nemafuki from about the Krishi Dut in Nepal, and from Bishwas Dhungana, intern from ID Nepal, about the machine learning models, which was very quite tech savvy. So now I'm going to summarize some of the very high level key takeaways from this presentation. The first one is that we have been talking from yesterday and the whole morning today about the importance of the digital agro-advisory services. So digital agro-advisory services are critical for farmers to transform the agriculture system in Nepal, and to scale the digital agriculture advisory services. Sustainable business models are very much important, are very much required, and this means that once digital agro-advisory services, because mostly it's designed by private sector, it's most designed by development projects, but once the project finishes, its sustainability is questioned. So for the sustainable business model, financing and other services like and infrastructure like the internet, export human resources are required for its scaling. Talking about the adoption of digital agro-advisory services, multiple factors affect its adoption, like the digital literacy, which is very important, how we translate digital literacy into digital education, as rightly pointed by our Ashutosh Sukla sir, household dynamics, and mobile ownership. And to scale the adoption, all these factors, like the household dynamics, digital literacy, and the mobile ownership need to be considered, and human-centered design or farmer-centered design, context-specific approach, tailored approaches are very much required to enable farmers to access these various kinds of digital agro-advisory services. Regarding the use of digital agro-advisory services, it is more effective when farmers use it themselves and when they are continuously supported by the extension agent. So farmers, if they are inclined or willing to use these services themselves, but are also supported by the extension agent, then it requires in the higher adoption of DAS. Digital integration, we have heard through a lot of presentation that digital integration is not only optional, it is very essential enabler to transform the digital agriculture ecosystem in Nepal. Talking about digital agro-advisory services, we heard that there are different kinds of digital divide, and we know that we are talking about the agriculture ecosystem. More than 50% of Nepalese population are dependent on agriculture, and 1/3 of them are women. So if we do not address the gendered barriers that women face, then we cannot scale the digital agro-advisory services in Nepal. We talk a lot about technology, tools, and approaches, but we need to consider how these digital agro-advisory services actually benefit women farmers and are accessible and affordable for them. We have heard a lot from the audience since yesterday and this morning today also that we all use mobile phones a lot. Our community people, farmers, they also use mobile a lot, but let's not use mobile only for the entertainment purpose like the TikTok and the Facebook. Let's use it as a tool for farming, for accessing different kinds of the services. When we talk about the mobile phones, I always remember one incident that happened when I was visiting Rukum last year, and many farmers there, female farmers, they know how to make video in TikTok. Honestly, I don't know how to make TikTok in video. So they were even asking me, let's take selfie and let's take video in the TikTok. So they are so tech savvy that they can use TikTok, Facebook, and other apps. Then why can't we support them to use mobile for other agriculture advisory and services? So they can do it, we need to support them. Regarding Ashutosh Shukla's presentation, yes, sir, technologies and innovations are evolving. We need them, and it's high time that we reimagine these technologies and innovation. And one thing that struck me was like one of the educational innovation required in Nepal, very much required, very much needed, is how do we connect our students with the communities, with the farmers, because communities and farmers, village, they are the knowledge bank. So we need to connect the classroom theories with practical level learnings with farmers and the community. This is very much important. Regarding the Digital Nepal framework, I was also very inspired with these presentations from Nepal Telecom. He talked about various digital initiatives and the framework. So I can see that I always used to ask myself that we have Digital Nepal Framework 2019, different organizations, private sectors, universities, research institutions, they are now heavily doing research and other development work in digital landscape. But where is the data? Who is doing what? Who is capturing this? But I can see from Nepal Telecom presentation that how our works are actually being reflected and captured there. And I think there is a very good opportunity to collaborate with NTC on further working on digital landscape in Nepal. I also actually like very much a presentation from the Krishi Doot. So, you know, like there are a lot of technological innovations and the apps. So the question is, how do we bring all them together and educate farmers so that they can make their own right decision themselves? Another thing about like custom hiring center, definitely we need a very good business model for the custom hiring centers, because custom hiring center is very important, but it cannot run on its own. So we really need a very good business models to implement in our country. So yes, these are the key takeaways from my side from today's session. I hope this session was very much productive and meaningful to all of you. I would like to thank all the 10 presenters and participants who were engaged, you know, like in a very interactive way. Everyone must be very tired, but you were all very engaging. So thank you so much for your attention, dedication, and the engagement. With this, I would like to conclude this session here, and we move forward to the lunch. Thank you. Sorry, now we would like to present token of love to all our presenters for their contribution.
Thank you, ma'am. To do the honor of presenting those tokens, I would like to most respectfully invite our guest, Mr. Devraj Niraula, sir, the Provincial Secretary of Gandaki Province, Ministry of Education, Water Resource and Water Supply. To receive the token of love, I would like to request our keynote speakers, Sangeeta Shrestha ma'am, Senior Agricultural Engineer, Department of Agriculture, and Randhir Kumar Saha sir, Senior Divisional Engineer, Department of Water Resource and Irrigation. Also, to receive the tokens, I would like to request Bobbi L. Gray, Bristi Vaidya, Rabindra Kumar Karki sir, Biswas Dungana, Sunita Nemafuki ma'am, Engineer Baburam Paudel sir, Professor Ashutosh Shukla sir, Professor Dr. Bhim Shrestha sir, and Professor Madhusudra sir to be on the middle of the stage to receive their tokens. Please give them a huge round of applause. This is our small way of expressing deep gratitude to the brilliant minds who shared their expertise with us today.